we're live.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party began their quest across the Isle of Niblata in search of the religious temples of the Saurians of this island that have been destroyed by the Argosian Inquisition that conquered this land a little over a decade ago. While the locations of most of the temples have been lost to time, their general locations are still decently well known, and the specific location of the first is known, which supposedly may give you a lead on the others. Specifically, the Temple of Restraint, nestled in the Jade Valley. The party has been moving quickly to make their way across these lands as quickly as partily possible. Along the way, you guys encountered a strange dark elf man, Liv Tatois, a male priest who claims to be a cousin to President Argos, and seems to actually have some evidence to back that claim up. After some general conversation, the party got some guidance from him through the swamps and jungles before making their way to the Stalker Forest, a stretch of misty plain that, while is dotted with the occasional bit of plant life, is mostly pursued by these massively sized dragons that swoop down from the mist and scoop up unwary prey. Cornered by a small pack of them after Gil agitated one with a thrown dagger, the party got seriously wounded, but managed to escape with bodies intact as Neon sprints away from the scene, dragging the cart behind, as everyone in the cart and the one being grabbed by the mouth is seriously wounded. As the last of the creatures fall behind, slowed down and dissuaded from chasing any further by Zephyr's ball-bearing trap. Neon, you continue to pull away, and I presume you don't stop until the river is bubbling gently at Morgan's feet. As you look around, and you can hear the distant calls of the Swamp Stalkers giving up the chase. What would you all like to do?
How is everybody looking health-wise?
Well, I think you used the heal spell right at the very end.
I did.
Which I'm full health now.
Yeah, full health.
I think that, how close are we to, like, getting out of here?
Well, no, I don't know if we know.
Did we go back? Dan?
No, you guys circled around. Basically, you've effectively just gone a little bit further than where you had started. From what Liv told you, it may be... basically, assuming you guys go at the pace you'd been going, you should be able to get out of this area by nightfall.
Should we continue without Liv? He said that he would catch up.
Yes.
Oh my god, Chrome, why are you taking up 63% of my memory?
I say,
He's bird food. Keep going.
Is that thing running in the background?
Know the general direction of which way we are going, towards the Jade Forest. So if we find the river, we can go towards the Jade Forest.
we're at the
and
river.
Are we at the river?
That's what
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned.
You're back at the river, and
Okay.
supposedly if you just keep following this, you'll get to the temple.
Okay. So let's
Fuck.
do you want to go like a little bit further in and then we take a camp?
Why are there so many tabs open? Where are these fucking tabs?
Well, I'm going to do that. I
I think that maybe
I don't think we should rest here.
I think that maybe if we go as far as we can today, maybe it will take less time to get to the temple.
Let's just get going.
I say we get here as fast as possible. If it takes us
Okay.
a little longer in the night.
Well, I think. Well, for me, I am very tired, but I could go for a little bit.
I know, you get tired fast.
She kind of like looks at Zephyr and like this really like tired, deadpan like expression. You got something to say, do you?
No, I'm just pointing out. You kind of said it yourself. You know, you get tired, just fast.
I'd like to see you try to do what I do and not get tired.
No, I don't.
Okay, then shut up.
I don't want to be useless. So I don't want to do what you do.
Ouch.
Oh
Can I
my
step
goodness!
on them?
We're on
I
the
will
cart.
remember.
Don't do that. You'd step on Caleb.
I will remember that, Zephyr, next time that you are hurt or that you are dying and it takes my energy to save your fucking ass. So you can just shut the fuck up.
I want to lift up Morgan's front leg and hold it over the cart.
Caleb's like, why are you going to step on me?
Necessary casualties.
Well,
That
Joe's
doesn't
fine.
seem. That doesn't seem
I'll
like
glare
the
at
peacekeeper way.
I'll glare at fucking Neon. He deserved that. He called me useless.
Sometimes you people need to learn to be the bigger person sometimes.
The bigger person.
Then prove it.
I don't have to. Look how tiny he is.
I lower the leg a little bit.
And Caleb like jump like try to jump onto the leg instead of being in the cart.
Until
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you can't, because I
Caleb
say
will
so.
like climb up the side of its
Yeah,
leg.
sure. Yeah, you kind of cling to the side of the leg, kind of reaching up and grabbing onto the quadrupedal foot of Morgan, and cling
So
to the
he
side.
doesn't get stepped on too.
Just so you know, Neon, I will be the bigger person. You watch. Come a day, the Zephyr will need me, and I will actually, maybe help him because I am a good fucking person.
We'll see
like,
about
People
that.
don't have to say it.
Fucking
She'll just-
Chrome. Why?
To just like
so much
fucking like
memory?
turn around and just look the other way and just completely ignore everybody else.
Fine by me. So have we decided what we're gonna do? Are we gonna go?
For now, let's just.
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. So is Neon done? Actually, he's gonna step on the cart.
Seems like it. Lucian's
Yeah,
now.
I've stepped on the cart. No, I'm kidding. I just accidentally step on the cart on the way. I'm just like,
Like,
shit.
oh boy, don't mean to do that. Shit.
Oh, jeez. Oh, they're all over the place.
Like those guards.
All right, so I'm guessing, Kero, real quick, you've been quiet. What are you doing?
Guess if he's not gonna step in the cart, Caleb will jump back into the cart.
All right.
Carol wasn't really concerned about Neon threatening. He didn't expect him to actually do anything.
All right.
So
And
just kind of
Carol.
Well, that's easy for them to say because they're not on the cart.
oh no, just Carol doesn't think that Neon would do something like that.
But yeah, Carol's on top of Morgan, right?
Yes, should still be on top. Yeah.
Never established. Are you still in his mouth?
And apparently Gil is way the fuck over there.
No, yeah, like,
That's
but
reverse.
again, it's because on the battle map they'd be off screen, so we just threw him over there so that we knew, okay, you're in Morgan's mouth, but otherwise not. Like,
I mean, you could just put him like on Morrigan.
Well, yeah, but then I couldn't. It'd be harder to keep track of
Not a
Morgan.
big deal. This is not even the updated map.
Yeah. This is just like the previous battle map, basically. All right, so yeah, go ahead, Gil.
So I would like to grab Ruby and
Okay.
get her on top of Morgan.
Neon, do you allow this?
I bite down. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
All right.
Just
Wow.
for no reason.
Cato, you see Gil
I'm
kind
gonna
of
argue that's an improvement.
adjust and sling Ruby onto the onto Morgan's back along with you. They look a little better from after Lucian's heal spell, but they still look pretty beat up. Severe looking bites dot their body in a triangular fashion from the beak of those dragons. And Ruby gives a very weak before the just kind of like falling onto Morgan. Still conscious but weak.
Caro, you're better
Yes.
at this than I am. Could you help her?
I guess I could feed her.
Like,
Like, that's me thinking outside of character. I'm not good with medicine, but I'll try to help her.
You know, this somebody who is just called useless.
but she's better with animals.
You
Can
don't
I
know if I'm
roll-
good with animals or not. You've not asked.
Can I roll animal handling to try to feed her, or do I need
Absolutely.
to?
I'll say roll animal handling with advantage since she's domesticated and
And this
not really.
baby.
Yeah.
Too tired to not be fed.
Yeah.
Poor child.
So
My
animal
brain
handling
was
with
doing the
advantage.
big stupid, and I couldn't remember where animal handling is, even though it's in alphabetical order.
Yeah, it's all good.
19.
You bend down to Ruby, and they kind of give a weak nudge of the head, and they do allow you to feed them, which does appear to at least calm them somewhat, although they continue to lay. While the wounds are no longer actively bleeding from the healing, the bites themselves do still look pretty nasty.
Nasty.
What would I roll to see how severe, like how ooh, like I doubt she'll die, but just how long it'll take her to heal.
Make me a medicine check, just flat roll. Or, what are your favorite enemies?
My favorite enemies? They're goblins. Oh.
I'm sorry, what?
Elves, kobolds.
Well, it's humanoids, so it's technically elves and elementals.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
elves.
Yeah. Make a medicine check.
Okay.
Carol's gonna
15.
kill Lucian.
And apparently kill and raccoon.
Line up.
Except for Zephyr. Zephyr's fine.
So much for sweet and
Hey,
innocent
she
that we
didn't
were
say
talking about,
humans either.
Sweet
Yeah, that's
Venice,
fair.
but shit, we're enemies.
No, it just means if we run into any enemies that are those races, she can do better against them.
Why do they get advantage against them?
Yeah, it's a ranger thing. You basically can pick like
Oh, we fought elves already?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
you fought a couple, but not that many.
Yeah.
Fight. Oh wait.
Like back in Sunspot.
Yeah, the Sunspot area. I was like, really, we just been fighting Ichor Beast and creatures and such.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, I got a 15.
Feel
Okay.
betrayed.
Betrayed, even though she hasn't done anything.
I was like, she has her favorite enemy is elf, when 90% of race that we've seen is elves.
All right. So sorry, what'd you get?
Like we've almost
15.
always encountered like elves, except our enemies are not elves.
Looking over Ruby, the bite the bite itself is pretty serious, and looking closer, while you didn't get a good look at the creature, looking the bites over rather, it looks like they probably did have some teeth in those beaks, because you do see several nasty looking serrated gashes. So the wounds themselves seem like they will heal, although basically without healing magic, the wounds' natural healing will likely be somewhat messy. There is a risk of the wounds getting infected if they are not bandaged, and from the way Ruby is breathing, you estimate they may have also cracked or bruised a few ribs.
Ooh, I have an idea.
Don't you dare. Don't say it.
What?
I'm not gonna say to
Dude,
kill
say-
her. Probably has an idea.
Eat it for rations? No, I'm going to use my restoration fog on my mech. I forgot I had that.
All right. You should have written down how it works.
Yes, all allies within 5 feet regain 1d8 hit points.
All right, go ahead and roll.
1 second. Let me do that. 1d8. Okay, I got A. 3.
8. One more time.
3.
All right. Everyone heals for 3.
Oh
It's
yeah.
already full health. So.
Oh yeah, baby. I think I still have a little health loss, so it's good. we go.
I needed to be full health.
It's macho. It's macho fucking man.
All right. Kato, so Neon, do you want to flavor the restoration fog? I can flavor it myself, just if you want to.
Let's say a white mist just kind of sprays out of various pores on the back of Morrigan, and it kind of just trickles over everyone like some pixie dust. And any who are healed get, I don't know, their bruises get slightly less purple.
All right. And speaking of, Kato, as the restoration fog hits Ruby and they breathe it in with a slight squawking cough, their breathing appears to even out, so it seems like it did at least fix their ribs, although the bites themselves, while the serrated edges of the bite lessen and smooth out a bit, the bites themselves remain. So basically it looks like she'll be okay, but leaving her unbandaged risks any remaining broken bones not setting properly and the body getting infected.
I will try to dress the wounds. Is it?
All right. And you said you have some cloth to do that with?
Well, I'm checking. If not, I'll just rip some cloth out.
I was gonna say Gil has extra clothes.
Yeah.
And he'll just rip those.
All right. So do you want to offer an extra set of clothes to Kara for this?
Yeah, he's actually giving the good clothes.
Oh, like the nice suit you got?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Well, like rip some off too.
All right, make me a medicine check with advantage. And Gil, you may remove one set of fancy clothes from your inventory as you give up your jade and emerald green suit to have
What
Caro
are you
dress.
gonna wear now?
I have common clothes.
Oh.
No, he's gonna go out naked.
Ugh.
Naked.
Anyways,
Wait, what happened?
No, it was a joke. He's not actually going around naked.
Okay. I was gonna be like, wait, what?
I mean, look, I think that maybe Gil should do that, because if he's naked, then the enemies would easily be blinded by the horrifying, sight.
Man, this party's in a fucking mood.
everyone's so angry today.
Oh.
God.
All right, what'd you get for your medicine, Keto?
13.
You dress the wound as best you can, tearing and shredding the fancy suit and wrapping it, and blood begins to immediately soak the green. But you feel like you're able to at least dress the wound and prevent infection, although
I love
the
how nobody
material-
asked the cleric for help.
well, Lucian seems like they're in a mood right now, to be fair.
Well, Lucian seems
She
angry
is.
right now.
She is.
The cleric that we have to trade mental damage for physical damage.
The mage.
How much psychic damage do I take?
Yeah, you do.
Caro, nothing.
Yeah, Caro, you do not take psychic damage, and the wound, you're satisfied that you've at least dressed the wound to prevent infection, although it does not seem to be doing much of anything to stop the bleeding, and if there are any remaining broken bones that you can't tell, you doubt this will be enough to set them, but, you tried. You've done what you can, basically. At the very least, it seems like it should prevent infection. Neon, as the person at the lead, everyone seems to be on the same page in terms of following the river still. So, what pace do you guys want to go at?
I'm gonna go
how do you want to?
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm going real fast.
All right, noted. Kato, do you want to lead the group? Since this is still technically a swamp, you could lead the group through this faster, if you wish.
So, maybe get out of here before nightfall.
Seems that they are busy.
Rip.
Oh.
There. They said they will.
All right, cool. And before the party gets moving, any objections to this plan of action?
Nope.
All right. Kato, for the time being, leaves Ruby to rest, watched by the small Suchomimus, as Kato begins to lead you once again, Neon, further and further into the Stalker Forest, following the river. With a clear route to follow, and even if you are down a guide, you all make good progress. As those of you in the back, if any of you are still injured, continue to lick your wounds. Zephyr keeping a grip on your parasol. Lucian angrily facing away from the party. And Caleb just happy that Neon did not step on the cart because you do not feel like walking. Whether it was the fight itself, simple coincidence, or something else entirely, the Swamp Stalkers do not pester the party any further, although you do still see the ominous sight of their arms and legs dotting the mist. Again, almost indistinguishable from trees if you didn't know what you were looking for. And it's not hard to imagine how many creatures have met an unfortunate fate in this part of the swamp, where even the predators and other creatures dare not go. As all of you proceed, the rest of the trip is thankfully quiet. And the mists beneath your feet beneath your mech legs and wheels and Karo's feet, begin to gradually give way, going from the swampy, messy grass of marshland to the somewhat uneven gravel, rock, and dirt of what the material is exactly you can't tell, although it does make an interesting and somewhat satisfying crunch as you go. As the
sand.
As the smooth, if you know, the smooth sounding, if bumpy for the rider's cart ride, gradually goes. The sounds in the cart gradually go from a mellow of the wheels over the grass to this crunching of the wheels rolling over gravel.
Is it like bumping all over the place now?
It's not bumping any more than it already was. Again, Neon's going at a very fast speed, but it is a lot noisier. And Caleb, you do feel the occasional rock or pebble kind of dink you in the head as you're resting in the cart.
It's just like, well, this is unpleasant.
The mist gradually begins to thin, although you're not quite out of it yet. But continuing to follow the river, Kero and Neon at the head, the two of you do come to a brief stop as you're not fully out of the mist yet, like I said, but you do come to a fork in the river. One continuing to your left and one continuing to your right.
Do we see any more quote-unquote trees?
Make a perception check.
Perception check. Where's my dice? There's my dice.
Question, DM. Based on my keen mind and my knowledge of the map that I had seen towards the fucking where we're going, can I know which way to go?
I'll get back to you. Let's see what Caleb rolls real quick.
Okay.
That will be a 23.
Okay. Looking around, Caleb, with your laser rifle at the ready, you do see some trees, but they're very thick and gnarled, so you're confident these are actual trees. Or possibly swamp dragons with very, very muscular arms.
Okay, does he notice anything else with that high perception roll?
Looking around, you still have to kind of squint a bit, as again, the mist is thinning, but not quite gone yet, but that's why you didn't have to roll with outright disadvantage. It's just still kind of hard to see. You do not hear any more calls from the Swamp Stalkers, but you do hear some very low... Now, it doesn't sound immediately close, but you do hear some distant, low growls. The tones and intonations vary, and a part of you almost feels like it sounds like a language you can't understand. But you can hear these distant roars and calls further down the river. Some of them this incredibly high-pitched, others these very low, constantly calling back and forth to each other.
And is it just like from either direction it's like that?
Yes, although I'll say, with a good perception roll, you notice it's a bit more concentrated to the left.
Caleb is going to be like, well, I think that maybe we should wait for our guide, because he said he was going to meet us. I don't know how long we would have to wait, though.
And I'll say, Lucian, with your keen mind, you would know that assuming you've been taking the right road up to this point and that it hasn't changed, you would want to go left if you're looking to reach the temple, as following the path to the right would lead you to the base of Formen, the Argosian capital.
This is what I'm going to suggest. And you guys can take it however you want to. What do I know? I'm useless. But if we go towards Formen, there may be a thinner, place without, fog, and we could wait there and go towards the left, side of the river, where I think the temple is. But I think if we get out of this fog, at least we would be safer. But again, what do I know?
Well, if he was taking us to the temple,
Yes.
then he would probably expect us to go to the left.
Well, the map. Amanda has the map up right now. There's like some mountains by the Killer's River and next to Formen. So maybe perhaps we could just like go a little bit out of Jade Valley and the Stalker Forest. So like not towards Formen, but like also not towards Killer's River. Like just out of the fucking fog.
I think that could be a good idea to get out of this fog.
I agree.
I kind of stare, like, intently at Zephyr.
This is not being the better person. This is
No.
being spiteful.
No.
I was like, man, the better person, man. Better person sounds very salty.
Hey,
We all know
Jacob,
that
you ever
Ian is
seen
very spiteful.
You ever seen Hell of a Boss, Jacob?
Absolutely. I've seen like
Someone's
each episode
salty.
like 1,000 times.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
DM.
What's up?
Going off to the left, does it look like the fog thins out anymore?
How far ahead do you want to check?
Like, just visual. Does it look like it gets any less? Or is it just more because of the fact we're next to the river?
Make a perception check.
From what I can see. You want to come see the map? I can show you what I'm thinking.
No, because he...
This is to
I need to get some new
Lucian.
dice.
Someone
Okay,
Not one.
Gil, from your position hanging from Morgan's face, you can't tell. It just looks like fog in all directions from your perspective. So
Lucian is still glaring at Zephyr.
All right, so we have one vote for set up camp here and wait for Liv to possibly return, although you have no guarantee that he will, or follow Lucian's plan and go off course towards Formen in hopes of cutting through the Nightmare Mountains to reach the temple from a theoretically safer route than just following Killer's River directly.
Gil's going to vote for stay here. If he's not here by morning, we leave.
All right. 2 votes stay, 1 vote off course. Neon, Kato, Zephyr.
I mean, I don't really care. Whatever gets us out of here.
Well, you mean out of the fog, or
out of the fog?
So probably towards the Nightmare Mountains.
Caleb would advocate for at least moving a little bit further in one direction to get out of the fog.
Yeah, that's what Lucian's trying to advocate for as well.
Caleb's just not sure they should go to the left where he thinks they'd be expected to be, or if they should go to the right where it might be safer, or if they should maybe try to just go a little bit
there's some middle ground.
forward.
I'm looking at the map right now. Like, there's a little bit of like middle ground between the fork towards Foreman and Killer's River. Like, there's like a little tiny spot right there. I'm looking at it. That's where I kind of want to head towards the mountains, but like still off adjacent to the left.
I think I know what you're talking about,
but
hang on, I'm gonna take a screenshot.
Well, I can just do this.
I think there's a map on the stream. Let me look at it.
There it is, but there's a bigger one.
Okay.
But how are we supposed to get across the river?
How big?
So are we?
We're at that little crossroad.
Okay, like right at the lake, right?
Yeah, if you look at the map that Zephyr posted, if you look a little bit towards the mountains on the right side, like there's like a little
are we
piece
coming
of
from
land.
Scalder's Lake?
Yes, the path that
you have your direction
goes upwards will take you.
Because the right path that leads to Foreman would be right if we were coming from the desert. But it'd be left if we're coming from Scalder's Lake.
Right, and there's if you look at the map, Hunter, there's a little place called Killer's River, right down that line of the river. That's where we're supposed to go, and like we're supposed to find like a waterfall, and the temple is supposed to be behind the waterfall.
Scalder's River. Okay, Killer's River goes to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So wait. Are we coming?
You see that little strip of land? Like all of those trees, and like there's like a little.
Oh, no, I had it wrong as to where we were. I thought we were at this little four-way intersection between the rivers.
No, that's the farm where you guys met Liv.
Yeah, no,
we went up this way to Stalker's Forest.
Yeah, where you're just at the outskirts.
If I'm right, does the fog continue all the way down Killer's River?
I'm assuming that it does. That it's like all of this white stuff over here. Lucian is assuming that's what that is. Like it's a marker of.
I'm assuming what you're saying is that small. We don't have a physical map, but
Lucian has keen mind, so
she's using the whole keen mind thing to remember the map. But I'm assuming you're thinking about that small green line, right?
Yeah, you see that small little thing, and then like they're at the very like.
But I'm also going to jump to the conclusion that might not actually exist.
Well, the best thing we could do is go towards the mountains and find out if it does exist, and if it doesn't exist, at least maybe we could find a cave or something like we did before, and
I think like
hunker down.
Trying to be like that may just be a quirk of the thing Matthew used to make the map, and not necessarily saying there's like a little green strip between the mountain and the fog area.
Yeah, but anyway,
well, Zephyr and Kara are the only two who haven't voted. Everyone seems in agreement of going forward to see if the fog thins out.
Matthew?
Dungeon Painter Studio.
Oh,
sponsored.
The thing is that right now, where the DM said that the fog is thinning, so with that assumption, mathematically, Lucian figures it may thin out as we go towards the mountain. Just mathematically speaking.
Are we already close to the mountain now?
Yeah, you are getting close. The ground beneath you is getting kind of gravelly and rocky.
Right. But I'm just saying, as we get closer, it may.
But you want to say a different mountains?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just going off of what Lucian is assuming.
I know, I get that.
Alright, so Zephyr, right now the majority vote seems to be go a little bit further in and then set up camp for the night and wait to see if Liv catches up. Lucian is proposing
like there would be some tree cover over that way too.
Exactly.
So like basically just kind of parking it in like the little in between area.
Yeah, that's exactly what Lucian is saying.
I guess we could. I mean, is it looking like it's getting late?
Yeah. You guys have been basically driving Morrigan at breakneck speed through the island for the better part of the day.
And Caleb will say that they should probably find that is probably the best course of action, to find somewhere in the tree cover to at least set up a camp.
If not the tree cover, maybe we could find like a cave or like a little like cove.
Like the main threats in this little area are things coming from the sky.
All right. Zephyr, Kato, are the two of you okay with that train of thought?
Zephyr says nothing.
Yes.
Of course Zephyr says no. Why do you say no?
I didn't.
He said nothing.
Yeah, he
Okay.
said
nothing.
Zephyr said nothing.
Wow.
Easy.
Instantly in defensive mode. I apologize.
All right, Neon, you're as far as piloting goes, you're the boss.
Let's
Follow,
go.
kill the. Well, so basically, specifically, which direction? Cross the river and go forward. Follow the river to the left, or follow the river to the right.
Fuck. What was the consensus?
Well, everyone's just agreed. Just go somewhere to try and get out of the fog. Nobody specified a direction. Lucian's advocating for following the rightmost path. Nobody else has, as far as I can tell, given a preference on which path they take. Just that we get out of the fog before going any further.
So if we take the rightmost path, we have to cross the river.
Yeah.
Which, is fine.
Let's go right. Fuck it.
Okay. In that case, Neon.
Oh no, we're all fucked.
Neon, you, I believe you said that Morgan is capable of lifting the cart. The river is not
Yes.
particularly big or deep, so, I mean, it has some depth to it, but it's not like insanely deep. It's not like the Changing Tide River, which goes like way down. So, so you want to just pick up the cart and just cart it across Killer's River and head to the right?
Yep.
All right. You all in the cart get a bit of a bumpy ride as Morgan literally just lifts up the cart and hoists it over the river. Neon, you have to kind of tentatively step to make sure Morgan is not expected to swim. As far as I know, Morgan is not amphibious. But with some effort and a bit of clumsy footwork, you're able to get Morgan across the river and deposit the back on the other side before continuing. You're basically having to essentially grip the cart with your back legs and then handstand your way across the river before putting it back down. It's awkward. Yeah, no, it's awkward and clumsy, but it works. And gently placing the cart back down, you shake some of the water off of Morgan's front legs and continue forward. Kato, I will say you are still in favored terrain, but the terrain, you would know the terrain has shifted to mountainous. But I believe that is still a favored terrain of yours, so you're still good.
Hey, Carol really shining this arc.
Neon, you continue to follow the river directly forward. And you find another split in the path a little bit further ahead. By this point, the fog is really beginning to thin. And you guys also notice the fog is thinning, but it's also getting lower. Rather than just being the all-consuming white in all directions that it was in the forest, now it's just this impenetrable cloud at the base. Like Caleb looking over the side and kind of tentatively waving a hand through the fog. You estimate if you were to hop out of the cart right now, the fog would come up to your waist and you would just not be able to see your legs, but you could still see like everything else around you. And as the fog begins to dip down to the ground, you all look up and find yourself surrounded on all sides by towering cliff sides and mountains. And interestingly, you also see that there are trees. The ground does not look conducive to tree growth, but you see several trees growing literally out the sides of mountains.
Is there anything strange about these trees?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing.
Both of you make a nature check, or one of you can make it with advantage.
I'll say Lucian makes it with advantage because Caleb only has +2 in nature.
All right, Lucian, make a nature check with advantage.
What does Lucian have for nature?
+4.
-3. Oh.
Okay.
+4.
So she's got So advantage to Lucian.
Yeah, go for it.
So glad I had advantage. The first roll was a 8, and the second roll is a 19.
Okay. Lucian, you've never seen trees like this, and as much as you try desperately to rack your brain, you're not a botanist, especially for trees that likely are not found commonly on the surface, if at all. However, Caleb, I will say,
why is Zephyr rolling acrobatics?
Probably, I'm assuming just rolling for fun.
Yeah, I'm just rolling.
Okay. I was like, hold up.
Hold on.
Zephyr just doing somersaults.
All right. But Caleb, I will say you are able to figure out, and because you gave him advantage, you can like point it out to Lucian. You squint carefully at the trees. Now a little justifiably paranoid of plant life. These trees do not seem to be unusual in any way. You don't see any of the signs. You've heard your sister tell stories of carnivorous plants, but there's usually some form of evidence of how they go about eating their prey. Possibly hanging vines that would snare prey. Although these trees do have hanging vines, they do not appear to be prehensile in any way. You do not see bodies or rot. Or even anything that would act as a lure. One thing Summer always told you is that if a plant is carnivorous, you can usually tell when it smells sweet because it's trying to lure in prey. But this place just smells like dirty rock and fog. So as far as assuming your sister's information holds up even to these plants do not appear unusual or dangerous in any observable natural way.
Okay, they're just strange.
Yeah. Basically, it's odd to see them growing here, but as far as you know, not impossible.
Are they actually trees or are they fungus?
Or are they what?
Are they actually trees or are they like a mushroom or fungus?
They seem to be trees.
Okay.
All of you looking around, you see these trees that are again, the trunks are gnarled, similar to that one you had seen coming in, Caleb. The trunks are gnarled and knotted. The roots almost grip the rock and dirt like hands, almost like the trees are scared that they're going to fall if they don't keep a tight grip. Low-hanging branches and vines sling low from the branches and tops of these trees. The tops of the trees themselves are relatively lush with plant life. Although you don't see much in the way of fruit or flowers, it just may not be in season. And all of you looking around notice that I mentioned, Neon, that you and Kero see a split in the path. That is because the river continues further ahead, maintaining level, but the fog continues to stay thick at foot level. However, Neon, you do see a path going up to the right that seems like it would take you above the fog. The path does look a little unsteady. You do see that it's less of a path per se and more of it slopes upwards, and then it's this loose collection of plateaus and mesas. You can actually see some trees growing literally underneath some of the plateaus and just hanging there, the trees like gnarling and nodding to be able to get exposed to the sun while hanging upside down.
Wow.
Some weird trees, man.
So you guys looking around, you're surrounded by towering mountain peaks, these sharp, like plate-like plateaus and mesas. The fog at around waist level is incredibly thick and impenetrable, although you are able to see above that level perfectly fine.
Mhm.
The river continues to flow in the fog, although you, Neon and Kara, have spotted an alternate path going upwards, which looks a little unsteady, but would allow you to maintain your visibility. Or you can take the continue to follow the river, which seems like it might be safer in terms of footwork, but you don't know what's going to be at your feet.
Lucian will say, to your right, where like the fog goes away, that is towards Foreman. And then I think the other way where the fog kind of stays is where we need to go. Would I be correct on that?
You have no idea. You've never seen Foreman.
Like, okay, let me rephrase that. Based on the map and my keen mind, would I be correct?
You don't know. The map doesn't show routes, it just shows rivers and landmarks.
Right. But like coming from where we just came from, mathematically, am I correct?
With the keen mind. The keen mind is the answer to every problem, apparently.
I'm going up the right path.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
That doesn't say anything. He just kind of.
I mean, Neon's the one driving, so.
We need the
Well,
visibility.
yeah, but
Yeah.
don't want it to just be, Neon makes all the decisions and nobody else gets to do anything.
No.
It's not the Neon show, it's Black Ink and Blue Blood.
Nah, it's the show now. Fuck all y'all.
All right. If everyone's good with it.
We're gonna be on fucking. Oh God, what's his name? The crab guy.
Crab guy.
Oh, Crit Crab?
Yeah,
Mr. Krabs.
we're gonna be on a Crit Crab video of how Jacob took over the campaign.
All right.
Oh.
The rightmost path. And looking down at the foggy area, you guys can see that it stretches on for a while. And you can see several Caleb, you actually spot a couple small caves that the fog kind of spills into before kind of dissipating a bit. Tree roots and trunks and branches almost act as this sort of like wall decor of this area. And while it's getting late now, like the sun has basically set and night is falling, you all can't see much. But Neon, while you do get the occasional unsettling creak, you do not see anything that immediately alarms you at the head of the group, nor do you, Karo. And eventually you guys come to what appears to be a decently sized clearing. There is a small indentation built in which appears to be a small stone hut. The river continues to flow at the base of the plateau, although you guys are high above it now. Kero, with one kind of quick glance, even with your distant jumping height, you estimate a fall down there, unless you landed in the water, would likely prove fatal. Or at the very least, seriously break something. Yeah, so looking around, you guys are on a plateau that seems decently wide open. There's an indentation in the mountain to your right. In said indentation, there appears to be a small stone hut, although the entrance to it is blocked by what appears to be one of the gnarled and mangled trees that has been uprooted and basically thrown across it to block the door.
Are there any markings?
Does this house look abandoned.
Yeah, are there any markings or anything?
How close are the two of you willing to get to it?
How close are we to it right now?
Right now, unless Neon goes to approach it, I'll say you guys are like 30 feet away from it.
Okay, I'd get within 10 feet of it.
Okay, Caleb?
Caleb will observe it from afar at first.
Caleb, make a perception check. Lucian, make an investigation check.
That's going to be a 26.
Okay.
Ooh. 23. Not a natural 20, but a natural 19.
Okay.
I had also rolled a 19 before my modifiers.
Nice. Caleb and Lucian, surprisingly in sync today. Caleb, you keeping your rifle at hand, observe the hut from afar, while Lucian, you approach to investigate. Real quick before I start listing off results, what are the rest of you doing, if anything?
Everything something's going to happen because he's like, okay, I need to let everybody else have a chance before this happens.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
I'm just watching from afar.
Okay. Gato?
Yeah, I'll also just watch for now.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat.
All right.
Gil's gonna go with Lucian.
All right.
Just in
Lucian,
case.
are you going to help investigate or just be there next to her, just in case?
I'm gonna be checking an area just to make sure that nothing sneaks up on us.
I'll say, Lucian, go ahead and make a roll at advantage to your investigation check.
Ooh. No, it's a 4.
Okay. Gil, you start to approach, but while most of your wounds have been healed, you're still a little thrown off emotionally and physically, not feeling fantastic after the events of the day. Not to mention you've been jangled around in Morrigan's mouth for the better part of several hours.
Yeah, that's probably going to cause a few back spasms.
You start to approach Lucian, and while you do stand there ready in case her investigation goes sour, you are forced to, crack your back a little bit and kind of wobble on your feet a bit, as you haven't been walking at all since Morgan grabbed you.
Ooh, that did feel
You good? You good, old man?
Who you called old?
You?
Caleb,
Okay,
can Caleb shout at them? Caleb's going to shout at them. By my standards, you are both ancient.
Hey, child, compared to Gil.
Rada.
They are like hundreds of years old.
It's only 170, but Gil
They're
is
like hundreds of
300.
years old and act like they're 5.
Yeah.
The power of elves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truly. An exalted race.
An exalted race.
I am feeling attacked by Kara right now.
Well, I mean, elves are Karu's preferred enemy.
Yeah, I know.
No, goblins were the first one.
First one.
Yeah, elves only came up after Karo met the party.
She just felt like, you know what? I kind of hate these people.
All elves like this. Ugh.
Now I should know how to kill him.
She just meets Lucifer and she's like, yep.
Let's kill him now.
Okay.
I can't stab my juice box.
As you all watch, Zephyr, you kind of cross your legs and start to dip into your rations for the day. The party will likely be setting up camp one way or the other soon, so you figure you might as well get a head start on dinner. And you watch casually as the rest of the group watches very much more carefully. Raccoon kind of drumming their fingers on the side of the cart as they squint as Lucian and Gil approach the hut. Caleb looking around very carefully. you don't see a whole lot that alerts you. Although looking down, you do actually see a creature. Although it doesn't alert your attention. You see what appears to be a almost humanoid creature covered in shaggy fur down you appear to be in the at the peak of what is essentially a canyon with the two divoting plateaus on either side, and then the foggy base where the river flows. And on one of the upside down growing trees that actually goes so low that it almost like skirts the fog, and you presume some of the vines and branches probably dip into the river itself. You see a massive hairy creature appearing almost humanoid with long claws, just munching casually on some of the branches and leaves.
Is it a fucking Sasquatch?
It's no, I will say.
Is it a sloth?
Yes. While none of you would know what this is, I will say for viewer and you guys reference, yes, it is a massive sloth.
Is it the fake species?
I actually don't know what that is, so maybe
there's a hoax, or hoax in quotation marks, I guess. There's a species of sloth that's like supposed to be super huge, but it's like not a real species.
Oh.
You meet up one?
No, this is not that one. It's a big sloth, but not like unnaturally so. And yeah, it's just Caleb. You see it just hanging on the branches. It kind of glances up at all of you, especially when you start making noise. But it doesn't appear hostile. And from the looks of its movements, it's too slow to be dangerous anyway. Although Caleb, you do kind of looking down at it, get the impression that it probably is not thinking a single goddamn thought.
Or no,
it's you.
Yeah, it's like Zootopia.
Yeah. So other than the fact that this seems to be a very stupid creature, you don't see anything in the canyon or opposite plateaus and surrounding ones that alert your attention.
And there's nothing about the hut?
Yeah. Yeah, with the hut, there is an odd smell in the air, although you cannot put your finger on it. It's not familiar to you, but it's an odd smell. No, it's not a sweet smell. It's a bit of a hard to the first word that comes to your mind when you think of the smell is meaty, but not in a necessarily unpleasant way.
Does it smell like rotting?
No. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't smell unpleasant. It doesn't smell like rotting meat. It has like, again, the best thing you can think of, although again it's a weird, really hard to describe smell, is almost the smell of fresh meat. And
it's like cooking, or
not cooking, just fresh.
It smells like does it smell like a butcher shop, basically?
Yeah, it kind of has that feel to it. And again, there is a sweetness to it, but not like a major one.
Not like carnivorous plant.
Yeah, it's this meaty smell, but with a hint of sweetness. The thing your mind closest equates it to is something in between a butcher's shop and a bakery, as weird as that is to imagine. There also is something of a stagnance to it. Again, not rotting, just still. The smell almost reminds you of the way Summer's laboratory smells sometimes, but again, only that specific aspect, that kind of medical sterility. So it's basically a mix of like a meaty smell, a sweet smell, and that smell of like a hospital.
Alright, with
nice that smell.
With Lucian and Gil being having gotten closer to it, and Caleb not seeing any immediate danger, he's going to get closer to it for a closer look.
What did I get with my investigation?
Yeah, we'll get to you. Don't worry. All right,
okay,
so Caleb,
okay.
What did they roll? Didn't they roll a 4?
No.
No, that was for Gil's help, quote unquote. But Lucian still rolled decently. So
yeah, she rolled like a 23 or something like that.
Yeah, I have it in mind. Don't worry. All right, so Caleb, I'm assuming grabbing your weapon just to be safe. You hoist over the cart like you had before and begin to carefully approach the hut. Lucian, looking over the hut, looking for markings first of all, since that's what you said you wanted to immediately prioritize. You notice the hut is on the decently big side, but it's still fairly small. You see what appears to be a carved emblem of a spider on the roof of the building. You're able to just barely peek over the top if you stand on your tiptoes. Other than that, you don't see any immediate markings on the building. The building itself, you can't see into it as the fallen tree is blocking the door. But yeah, you do see the emblem of spider on top.
Windows?
No, it's literally just like basically like imagine almost like an igloo shape, but with rocks.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And Lucian, as Caleb gets closer, you catch that smell too. And it, unlike Caleb, it is familiar to you, but you don't know why. But yes, you do recognize that definitely medical sterility. And the smell reminds you unpleasantly of the smell of organs. But again, not in the sense that they're rotting or freshly cut open, as you sadly have that smell distinctly wired into your mind. It's definitely the smell of a body, but not a rotting one or even a cut up one, just the smell of a body. And again, it's familiar to you, but you can't put your finger on exactly in what way. But there's something familiar about that smell, whatever it is.
Question. Because
Answer.
I have had this feeling before, back in Perha. Does it smell the same way as the troll did?
No.
Okay. But it does smell oddly familiar.
Yeah, it's oddly familiar to you. Between that and the hospital smell, it makes you think of the work you've done. But again, while it evokes that memory, you can't quite put your finger on what memory it's awakening in you. Like that, it's on the tip of your tongue, but not
They
quite
roll
coming
something
to
for that?
you.
Question. Is there a way that I can get in, or is like the tree in the way?
Yeah, the tree is completely blocking the door. You can't. You see a very faint tip of an entrance hole, but that's it.
Neon, do you think that Morgan could move this tree?
It's not like a super duper massive tree, Matthew. It's just like a normal tree.
It's sizable. Like looking it over, Morgan could almost certainly lift it.
Yeah. There's nary a doubt in my mind.
Would you mind commanding or whatever it is that you do to ask Morgan to maybe move the tree so I can go inside?
I push like 2 buttons on my wrist thingy, and Morgan does that.
Alright.
Morgan just grab it with their mouth and just rip that fucker out.
Yeah. Like, how do you want to go about this?
I would say just like put 1 foot up and just push the tree over.
Okay, easy enough to do. Morgan lifts a leg and basically just slides the tree out of, and it actually starts to roll a little bit, although it doesn't roll off the edge. You just roll it out of the way, basically. And now all of you are immediately hit with that smell. Although Lucian is the only one who finds it familiar, but all of you do get that same description of the smell. Some of you may have that association of that sterile smell smelling like a hospital, but only Lucian finds the smell distinctly familiar. To everyone else, it's just a smell that is unusual, but not necessarily like immediately troubling.
Ceremoniously, I'm going to knock on the door.
Well, there isn't a door. It's literally just a hole.
Oh, okay, then I guess
like an igloo.
I guess I'll walk in.
Yeah. And,
hey, Lucian.
Too late.
Yeah, Gil, as you call out, Lucian is already you have to kind of duck your head and hunch your shoulders to get in, Lucian, but you are able to walk in. The door is a little on the small side.
Caleb have to duck.
Does anyone else want to follow Lucian in, or are you guys going to stand outside?
How big is it?
I'll go in.
I'll go in too.
It's what'd you say, Neon?
I said I'll also go in, like, along with Kara.
All right. And Gil, kind of looking it over, it's not a particularly big hut, and you noticed Lucian had to kind of hunch themselves to just be able to go through the door. You estimate that assuming there was just nothing in there, probably like 4 people could fit in there comfortably.
Okay. I'm going to stay outside then.
Okay. Caleb?
How tall is Lucian, by the way?
She's 5'6".
So Caleb would probably also have to duck because he's 5'4".
Yeah. So some of you have to duck your heads a little bit, although Neon, you're able to just waltz in without any trouble.
And Gil, Zephyr is just going to continue to eat.
Yeah, Zephyr, I'm going to take a wild guess and say you're not going to go in.
I mean, he's not going to go in, but he'll stop eating.
All right. So, Gil, you cross your arms and stand guard, deeming that, especially when you see Caleb start to duck his head and follow Keto and Neon in, that you likely just wouldn't be able to even fit, especially if there's something in there. Taking a glance at Zephyr, you see Zephyr has put down his food and is just watching the hut. For those of you
angry lizard boy is just sitting there watching. Menacingly.
As you all enter one by one, you find yourself in a relatively small, unremarkable, vaguely circular, although the edges being just basically a rock, make it a little on the bumpy and craggy side. There are 3 leather rolls, not bed rolls, but just rolls of leather, laid out side by side, in essentially a horizontal line in front of you, laid out from the doorway to the back end of the hut. On the left and rightmost leather rolls of leather, you see that there are several more bits of leather just piled up in the center of them. The middle one appears completely unoccupied, and at the head of that leather roll, you see a bucket. Although at this distance, you cannot tell if there's anything in it. And this whole chamber smells like that smell.
Okay, based on what I know, because of who I am, could I deduce that this is a burial?
So basically, are you trying to determine if it smells like death?
Yeah.
Let's see what's in the bucket.
Okay. Keto and Neon, what are the 2 of you going to be doing? And Lucian, don't give me the result until I call back on you, but go ahead and roll me... I'm going to call this a religion check. I know it's using your senses, but it's also to see if the structure even looks like it would be a burial.
I know what this is.
Do you?
I do.
But you're outside with
I know.
Yeah, you don't know what it looks like inside.
But I'm a player now.
And Neon and Kara, what are the 2 of you doing?
Neon's just kind of got a frown on his face with all the gross smells, and it's just kind of, I guess, pensively just looking around.
I was just gonna examine the area.
But Jacob, I thought foxes liked meat.
Yeah, and make me an investigation check.
Fennec foxes specifically eat insects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And investigation?
Yeah, just if you're just taking a look around the area.
18.
Okay.
Man, the rolls have been good today.
And Lucian, your religion?
24.
Okay. Keto and you start to kind of look around the hut. Caleb, you approach the bucket curiously to peek into it. Neon, you frown and stand at the doorway as Lucian, you look around. Lucian, up first. You do not think this is a burial ground. These people have cities that they could put the burial grounds in. And B, while it does have the holy marking, so it's definitely religious in some way, there's, other than these 3 rolls of leather, no graves. You don't see anything that would mark a respectful burial beyond some rolls of leather. So you're pretty sure it doesn't have the aplomb and courtesy and respect that you would estimate a proper burial ground to have. So if this is a burial ground, it's certainly a burial ground for the disrespected, if nothing else. So you doubt it's a burial ground unless it's for particularly disrespected people. As you imagine, a more respectable burial ground would likely be bigger, fancier, have more clear markings, and likely be closer to the city, if not in it. Caleb and Kero, as you, Kero, you finish your look around the area. You don't see much else. Although, joining Caleb and looking in the bucket, the 2 of you see the bucket does not have any water in it, although it does have several other things in it. You see a small cloth rag, several additional cloth rags that appear to be stained with blood, a small set of what I'll say both of you are able to identify as being doctor's tools. And other than the bloodstained cloth rags, the unbloodstained cloth rag, and some surgical tools, you don't see much else in the bucket.
The blood. I would figure, being a bandit, Caleb knows what blood.
Yeah, what fresh blood.
Does it look fresh?
It does not look fresh at all. And
does it look practically ancient?
I wouldn't say ancient, and although I will say, as you kind of cautiously sniff, the smell is the most concentrated around the bucket, and nothing about the surgical tools look clean, and the other cloth rag is untouched. So you're imagining it's likely these rags that are producing that smell. And while it is definitely, some of it is definitely blood, that other smell is heavily concentrated on it. So it's likely not just blood, although blood is definitely part of the mixture. And it does look old, but not ancient.
Okay, question. Okay, I want to go over to where they are, where the surgical tools and all of that is. Does it smell kind of like the same concentration that they would use for, like, sterilization?
Make a medicine check.
Okay. Also, I am tempted to nick those tools.
Well, first of all, before you approach, while you're rolling your medicine, Kato and Caleb, you did find them first. Anything you want to say to each other or do before Lucian approaches?
Caleb wants to investigate the leather and see if there's anything significant about that.
Okay.
Would that be an investigation?
Yeah, and I'll say actually roll it with. Okay, I'm gonna call this a flat roll, but because Kero already rolled investigation, so if you roll poorly, then I'll say Kero can pass along anything that you might have found. So just go ahead and make an investigation roll, just flat.
This could be a 17.
Okay, and Kero, Caleb, for now, passes on the bucket and approaches the leather rolls to check them out further. You can join Caleb if you want, or do something with this bucket, whatever you want to do.
And what's in the bucket? Is it like...
So you see one cloth rag clean, several cloth rags bloodied and something else, and a set of surgical tools.
Okay. I want to look at the rags.
Okay. The dirtied ones?
Yeah.
Alright, are you looking for anything in particular, or just checking them out?
I could try to see if I know what kind of blood it is, but I have no way of knowing that. It's blood. It's red.
Yeah.
Is it red?
Yes, it's red.
Well, if it's old, wouldn't it be like brown by
I
now?
No,
guess
it's like reddish brown, but
Okay.
but yes, it does not look like the blood was unusually colored.
I had to check. I'm sorry.
No,
I
that's fair.
guess I'll look at the rag that has the other on it or whatever.
Okay. So just the not bloodied rag, basically.
Yes.
All right. Make me. Well, you already rolled investigation, so I'll apply that to this. So, Lucian, as you start to approach the bucket, Caleb, you walk away to check out the leather, and Kero, kind of curling your nose a bit at the bloodied rags, you pull out the clean one to kind of curiously look it over. And I'll circle around in the order you guys get your results. Caleb, looking around at the leather, there doesn't appear to be much unusual about the leathers. You kind of feel around for trapdoors or anything beneath them. There does not appear to be anything. Although you do notice that they kind of have that... It doesn't feel recent, but they do have that kind of vaguely sticky feeling. Someone definitely had been laying on it. Not super recently, but you know that kind of like warm, sticky feeling a leather couch gets when a particularly sweaty individual lays on it.
Yeah.
It kind of has that feel to it, a little unpleasant. And the rolls of leather in the center of the ones on the sides, you actually do recognize these. Tabedra typically uses similar setups to make it comfortable for doctors to be on their knees while doing an operation. If there's not position to just have them standing at an operating table. Typically, there will be setups like this where you would be on your knees and your knees would rest against that extra padding so that it becomes less uncomfortable and tiring to be on your knees for long lengths of time.
All right. So what would one have to roll to kind of try to put all the clues together to decide what to figure based on what he knows? Would it be intelligence?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, if you want to see if just Caleb can figure it out. I'll say, yeah, make me a general intelligence check. And, Keto?
It's going to be
smelling
a 12.
Alright, we'll come back to you. Keto, the rag, again, appears to be clean. Although, finally, you give it a tentative sniff, and the other smell does not appear, well, it does appear to have kind of permeated onto it. It does not appear to be emanating from this, although you get the distinct odor of sweat. Very old, stale sweat.
Yuck.
I see. Can I see if there's, like, any, like, emblems or anything on it?
As you kind of unroll it and look it over on both sides, there does not appear to be an emblem on it. Although the cloth itself appears relatively unremarkable as well. And Lucian, if I recall, you wanted to take a look at the surgical tools, and
right.
You wanted to see if the tools would be used for a sterilization.
Well, no, I wanted to see if they smelled like they've been sterilized either recently or like if there's like any sterilization whatsoever. Also, I do want to look at the tools and kind of deduce. Amanda, have a feeling I know what this is, but I want to see if Lucian can deduce also what this is.
Okay. I'll say make an investigation check for the tools, and then afterwards you can make me an intelligence roll along with Caleb to see if you can piece it together.
What was it? You said a what now?
Investigation to see if the tools are sterilized.
Ooh.
I'll give you advantage because you would know what that smells like as a doctor.
Right. Okay, let's see. 23. I got a 19, like a natural 19 on that investigation. That was awesome.
Nice. 19s with this party today.
Honestly, it just kind of like, it was like, originally it was like an 11, and then it like rolled over, and I was like, yes!
The monkey's paw just curls in on itself.
Yeah, it rolled over, guys.
I was watching.
Taking an experimental sniff, yes, the tools do appear to be sterilized.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now make me an intelligence roll, just flat.
Ooh. This is 19. Just a 19.
Okay. Caleb, you're not 100% sure. So this definitely is a place where doctors work, although Lucian did not communicate them seeing the symbol. So you estimate this could be a field hospital, although you don't know why they would build it this far out from the city. And for you, Lucian, you glance at the tools, the rags, and you are finally able to identify what that smell is, and why it's so familiar to you. Specifically, it is the distinct, if old and permeated, smell of a place where a birth happened.
Sure. Okay.
From the looks of the tools, everything that's here, the organization of the roles, you estimate this is a improvised but seemingly functional place where a pregnancy was delivered very impromptuli. The tools are clean, and you don't see any signs of anything uppity beyond that. But yeah, you definitely recognize this smell.
Can I identify how long it's been since the birth?
You don't know. It's definitely, by your best judgment, I will say either it happened recently, or if this place has been used multiple times, it could have happened a while ago, and just the smells gotten permeated. So it's either happened a lot and the smell's just gotten kind of stuck there, or it happened semi-recently, but that's about all you can gather. You're not exactly a bloodhound.
Okay, one last question for you, DM, and I will let down before I'm
happy to answer questions.
The surgical tools. Amanda knows this, and I'm pretty sure Lucian would know this as well. On some medical tools, especially if they are of higher standard medical tools, they will have like emblems or etchings on them, like indicating where they're from. Like, I would probably say like some doctors like from a certain country would have like their emblem on it, or like a religion would have an emblem. Like, is there anything indicating on these specific ones?
From your investigation earlier, kind of looking them over, no, not that you can see.
I
probably
will
just generic tools.
Yeah. I'll look around. Do you guys think it's okay if I take these?
Hey, Caleb was going to say, well, I was going to see if this leather was going to be worth anything.
I mean, you guys can take the leather. I don't care. I'm more interested in these tools. I mean, I left my tools back in Wicket.
Can Caleb get an idea of the quality of this leather?
That's an interesting question. Maybe another investigation check.
Yeah. It's going to be a 19.
You may not be a doctor, and you may not be able to identify smells of blood and internal fluid, but if there's one thing you can identify, it is the potential value of something.
That's that bandit blood for you.
That bandit blood, boy!
Pulling up the leather rolls that you recognize at this point as being, again, basically like the roll of leather that would act as a cushion for the legs. Looking over the one you have, it's kept very clean. It is a little on the, again, sweaty and warm side, but beyond that, completely untouched. It appears to be really good quality and exotic at that. You can tell it's definitely likely made out of dragon scales, or rather dragon hide, but you can't.
I can't remember if dragon hide was also illegal in the cities.
No, just owning a live dragon.
Okay.
Killing them.
So Caleb can gather that this, if he cleans it up a little bit, would probably sell for a pretty amount.
Yeah. So if you're just going to sell it as a raw material, the price of it, would just kind of vary. Like you're not 100% sure. Like exactly how valuable it will be. However, you would know, especially with your brother being somewhat of an enterprising person himself. Leather of this quality, bare minimum, would likely sell for something in the ballpark of 10 or 15 gold. But if you were to possibly work it into something finer or convince someone to do it for you, leather this good, you could probably make it into any number of things and sell it for even more of a high price.
Caleb fit this leather in his bag of holding.
Easily. It's literally just like 2 handful. Like basically imagine leather strips like the size of a towel.
Alright, Caleb is going to start stuffing the leather into his bag of holding.
Alright, go ahead and add two rolls of dragon leather to your inventory.
Do you guys think it's okay if I take these tools?
Well, I'm taking this leather, so we're already thieves.
She grabs the tools and she's just like, well, I mean, I didn't lose them, but I left them in the Alefikir mansion back in Wicket, when I died. So, I think I will take these.
That's your reason for thieving. I left them at home, so...
Caleb the leather worker.
I left mine at home, so I'm just gonna take these.
Yeah, like, that's my reason for stealing is I left them at home, so I need yours.
That's so Austin. Zephyr the jeweler, Caleb the leather worker.
Yes.
So I will take the surgical tools.
And they can make
I did have one
jewel-studded
more question,
leather.
but I forgot what it was. Oh yes, I remember what my question was. Because I was thinking, if there was a birth, do I see like embryonic sacs? Do I see any maybe discarded, umbilical cords?
Yeah.
Are you looking for
Gross.
Lucian, I'm looking for medical stuff. Yes, I'm looking for, the stuff that comes out when you give birth.
No.
Okay.
No, like looking around, you do not see this place. Caro, Caleb, and you have searched it as far as you can tell, top to bottom. This isn't irritation; it's more just like, gross. You do not see anything else unusual.
Okay.
Although you are a little grossed out, as you're pretty sure that's the not blood substance those rags are covered in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what that substance is now. And I touched it. Great. Okay.
Caleb didn't.
I don't think that we should sleep in this hut.
No, I was not planning on it.
We should probably go tell the others there was a birth here. I'm not sure who.
Wait, there was a birth here?
Well, that's what
I thought it was just like a place where they cut off people's legs and they got infected.
No, that's what that smell is. It's a smell that happens when a woman gives birth to a child. It's a very distinctive smell, and that's what this is. And that's what is on those rags that I touched. Also, there's lots of blood everywhere. There's lots of blood happens when somebody is born as well. So,
Caleb is just Gross.
I love how like Lucian's just like casually telling like a child how birth happens, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well,
Can we point out
while
this is
Lucian has
also-
the birds
this
and the
is
bees
also
talk
a
with
child
Caleb.
That's what this should be, the birds and the bees. That's what this should be.
This is
How
also
are
a
things
kid-
going outside?
Oh, hold on. Caleb, go ahead.
Yeah, she's like explaining this to a 14-year-old, and a 14-year-old who has literally no interest in the opposite gender.
Know that.
Real quick, while Lucian explains the birds and the bees to Caleb, before we get to what's going on outside, Keto and Neon, what are the two of you doing?
Listening to Lucian explain how birth happened.
I feel like it's a very long and like long-winded.
Can Caleb just leave?
You can if you want.
Caleb is going to leave. He's not
But
wanting to hear
Caleb,
how
I
this
wasn't
works.
done explaining.
I
Right,
don't
Cal-
need to hear this. This is literally going to never be relevant in my
Well-
life.
You're going to have to learn it someday, Caleb.
Caro, Neon, what are the two of you doing?
There was something I was going to say, but I don't know if I should say it.
No, say it. Go for it. Yes.
I leave.
Hey, go for it.
Caleb is just like, I don't. You see, I have. The interests I have are never going to align with that.
I see you do not like the other, gender. I understand, but it still is, important.
Caleb is going to leave.
But it's
All right.
still important to learn.
All right, while that's happening, Caro, Neon.
I've left by this point.
Okay, Caro. All right.
Caro could actually make this quite funny because Caro's a frog. That's not how birth works for frogs. So
That's fair.
they could be like, what do you mean? Everyone is born from egg.
No. Well, I mean, technically, yes.
I was saying that in a Caro voice.
Yeah.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
I'm
That wasn't
assuming
in character.
Caro's
I mean,
AFK,
technically.
so Zephyr and Gil, while the other four went inside, Raccoon waits out, kind of drumming their fingers on the cart. What are the two of you
Good
doing?
thing Raccoon wasn't in there.
So, I want to keep an eye out in the surrounding area.
All right, maybe a perception check.
At least for a little bit. Better. 18.
Okay. Zephyr, what are you doing?
Being glad that he's not hearing that conversation. Even he's the reptile, so he probably also hatched from an egg.
Technically, we all came from eggs.
We're not having that conversation, Lucian.
Why? I don't understand.
Because you're not
It's
out
just
here.
the problem.
Yeah, same
What is-
character, guys. Zephyr, what are you doing?
He's bored now. Let's see. He might regret this. Let's see. What does the ground look like?
At your feet?
Yeah.
Just flat stone. A little craggly and gravelly, but
Okay. Just why not? I would like to I would like to toss. I would like to bring out a coin that it seems to have some light to it, kind of like bright. Got like a 5-foot radius dim light to it.
okay.
I would like to toss that coin 5 feet from me.
Just anywhere?
Just kind of like in front of me. Just why not? I would like to toss the coin of developing.
Oh, of delving? Yeah.
Delving in. So
The coin of delving.
Yep. 5 feet.
All right, so you're not tossing it anywhere in particular, just wherever.
Yeah, just kind of. I mean, I don't want to lose it, so I mean, just anywhere I can just get it back. But yeah, just.
Okay. And if I recall, that's the one that gives you a mental signal whenever it's hit the ground and tells you how far the drop is.
It drops or basically as long as I drop it from greater 5 feet from me, or it dropped the coin issues a melatosis ringing sound that when it hits the surface. Any creature that hears the chimes can determine the distance the coin dropped based on the tone.
Okay.
All
right, you chuck.
Like distance from the hearer?
Yeah, but it didn't specify distance, just anyone within earshot in this incredibly acoustic preserving.
Does it tell the hearer the distance it fell from them?
Well, it tells.
Basically, so like, yeah, in this case, Zephyr's chucking it like 10 feet. You'll all hear a ring and know that's the ring of something that just fell 10 feet.
Well, no, I think it's just you could hear, where that chime is coming from, or how far away it is. You don't exactly tell you the location precisely, just how far away that chime came from.
Okay. Yeah, I assumed it was like, because I thought it was supposed to tell you the distance of a drop.
So he's going.
Main utility.
Yeah, any creature that hears the chime can determine the distance the coin dropped based on the tone.
No, yeah. So yeah, like basically,
every living thing in a certain radius is going to know where this coin just landed.
Okay.
Well, distance.
They can at least vaguely triangulate it. Yes, you're going to make a loud sound. Yes. Also, hello, Kero. Real quick, everyone's leaving the hut. Do you want to do anything?
Oh, do I see anything in there? What else? What all did everyone take?
Caleb took the rolls of leather from the 2 side beds. And Lucian identified that this place was likely used to do the procedure for a pregnancy. And
had started to explain that process to Caleb, where everybody could hear.
Lucian took the doctor's tools, and Caleb took the 2 rolls of leather. As far as you can tell, the only thing left is the 3 big rolls of leather, the filthy rag, and the clean rag. Well, clean, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And the
bucket. I'll leave the rags here. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh yeah, wait, no. I think I don't remember if it was answered. I was going to ask, or if I asked it, if I could see any emblems on the. I don't remember if it was.
Yeah, no, I did answer that question. I'm guessing that was when I was guessing that's when you got interrupted. No, you did not see any emblems on the. And yeah, all you missed was like there's no emblems on it. It appears to just be like canvas cloth. And Lucian was able to identify that this place was used to do a procedure for giving birth.
Okay.
So I'm sure confuses Caro because as far as
yeah,
Caro knew, you just lay eggs.
Just hear Lucian go into deep detail about how pregnancy is conspired by humanoids.
Caro, I mean, Caro knows about this though.
Caro knows that there's different ways.
Yeah, I'm an adult. I'm not stupid.
What? Why do you keep thinking I'm a child?
I just figured it's innocent. Different for a frog person.
Yeah, just very sweet and very innocent. That's all.
And
don't worry, I work with animals. I've seen it all.
And Lucian, I will say just real quick before we get back to Zephyr and Gil, now that Caro's back. Within your doctor's, basically the things you're able to get from your doctor's tools, you get several sutures, forceps, and scalpels. A few vials, although they do not appear to contain anything.
Yeah.
A mortar and pestle.
I'm sorry, a what?
Crucible. A mortar and pestle.
Okay.
I mean, you don't need to write all this down. Just if you're curious, what tools you have. A crucible. And a small journal, which, flicking through it offhandedly, appears to be recipes for several medicines.
Woohoo! Keeping that shit.
Caleb gonna
Alright.
make some money off this leather. Lucian got some doctor's notes.
All right, so Lucian, you may add just a doctor's kit to your inventory.
They start with a doctor's kit, but then lose it whenever we got captured.
Nope.
This is actually a homebrew item.
Oh,
I'm excited.
I will say, Lucian, you will need proficiency with this kit if you're going to make medicine from that book. And if you get proficiency with it, you will not only get your proficiency bonus, you also get advantage to medicine checks to conduct surgery on someone.
I am currently working on that though, with the medical books. So.
Yeah, just informing you.
Cool.
All right. Anyways, Zephyr, kind of bored, you flick your coin, and all of you, even in the hut, as Caleb and Neon are on your way out, being hounded by Lucian and Caro taking one final look around, all of you hear this kind of unsettling and you're not sure why, but all of you instinctively know something just fell 10 feet.
I don't think that's again.
Caleb is going to startle like a
I
deer
will
in the
also
headlights.
startle and just be like, "What the?"
I took it as like you can hear, like when you hear the tone, you know how far that tone is, or like how far the coin is, essentially.
Well, yeah. But it doesn't say exactly how that happened, so I figured it'd be just a magical, like, oh, it just fell that far, because it says you know how far it fell, basically exactly.
How far it fell? No, it doesn't say that.
That's what you said.
No, it said any creature that
What
can
does
hear the
it
chime.
say exactly?
Any creature that can hear the chime can determine the distance the coin dropped based off the tone. That's kind of how.
Yeah,
it goes.
so
the coin dropped.
Yeah, based on the tone that the coin emanates when you drop it, you can tell how far it fell.
I figured it was like you can hear.
It says it in there. The distance the coin fell.
What? It doesn't say that to me. It says the distance.
You just read that.
Well, they said fell. It said dropped.
Oh my god, are you really gonna be that guy?
Yeah. So yeah, we're good. Either way, yeah, we're good. So yeah. And yeah, as everyone in the hut kind of startles, and Gil, what was your perception again, if you remember?
18.
All right, and Gil, especially whenever Zephyr just boredly chucks the coin, you take a look around. The surrounding plateaus thankfully appear clear. Again, the fog has more or less dissipated. But looking down at the canyon below, as the gong rings out, you see some movement. And you see a small, about chicken-sized, bipedal dragon emerge from the fog and perch on a rock and look around. It's covered in feathers, all of which are raised in a poofy display of intimidation as the sound appears to have startled it. And it gives a low and looks around, not appearing to have immediately noticed you, but as it looks up, it does, and sees your cart and you standing next to the hut. And it kind of stares up at you and tilts its head. And as it kind of steps back, it raises its head up high and gives a and hops into the fog and disappears.
Clever girl.
Zephyr, what did you do?
I look at you, immediately blame Zephyr.
You aren't out here yet.
I'm going to point out, who else in this party would have done something like that?
Yeah, Zephyr and Gil were the only people outside. Oh, I guess I will say in Zephyr's defense that yeah.
Oh, what did you do?
What happened?
I mean, I guess she could say Gil and Zephyr. Which one of you did that?
Which one of you idiots did that?
Yeah, like so there's gonna be a situation someday where it's just like, Zephyr, what did you do? I didn't do anything. Oh, sorry. Gil, what did you do? I didn't do anything either. Sorry, force of habit. But who broke it? And then just like in the distance, it was me. I broke it.
It's like some random person. Not even us. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, now that the hut's open, and again, it's like right there. You all who went in the hut and reemerge with your new acquisitions, and see Zephyr sitting in the cart, Gil looking over the canyon, and Zephyr, do you want to retrieve your coin?
Yeah.
And Zephyr hops out of the cart and grabs a coin off of the ground and pockets it.
What the fuck?
I didn't do anything.
You always do something.
Not this time. I saw a weird dinosaur.
What kind of dinosaur?
Do they know
you
what
both
the
don't
term
know that.
dinosaur is?
Yeah, you think they're dragons.
What kind of dragon did you see? Was it a Plantosaurus or a Metasaurus?
I have no idea. But it's uglier than Zephyr.
That's... Don't, don't.
Don't.
Don't. That poor dragon.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to point out how far was I am the bigger man, or I could be the bigger man.
So you're talking to Lucian like the biggest, pettiest bitch ever?
Yeah, I know. Either way, Zephyr will just casually pick up his coin and walk back to the cart.
All right. So by this point is well into the night. It is pitch black for those without dark vision, and even those with dark vision, your vision is limited. Gil,
like, okay, I think it's time that we set up a camp and get some rest.
I think that we should find a cave or something away from the I almost said fucking dinosaurs. Thanks, Gil. The fucking dragons.
No, this is as good as any.
No.
We don't know where any good spots are, so I mean, this spot's good as any.
So Gil's gonna start making camp.
Gil, do you mind taking first watch? I am very tired.
Sure, I'll take first watch. And is that sloth still here?
Oh my god!
You didn't know? I don't think Caleb mentioned the sloth. Did he?
He did not.
Would I have seen it with my perception check?
No.
You don't see a sloth anywhere. Although it may just be beyond the range of your dark vision.
Okay.
All right. Are you guys going to set up camp here then?
Yes.
Okay. As all of you begin to set up camp for the day, out of curiosity, is anyone sleeping in the hut, or are you all just going to sleep outside?
Not sleeping in
Caleb
the
is
hut.
going to sleep
Hell
in the
no.
cart.
Yeah.
Sleeping outside. Well, in Morrigan.
All right. You all begin to set up camp. Another day of rations and water from each of you. Those of you with pets take off extra for each of the animals you have to feed. And as you all... What's up?
Nobody would have mentioned to Gil what that hut was for.
Nope.
Yeah, Lucian would have told you eventually while we were setting up camp or something. Just like casually while we're doing camp.
Yeah, you're setting up camp, so there's
they
room
probably
for
had a
plausible.
birth there. I took their utensils because I left mine in Wicked.
A hut's a hut. And he'll sleep in there for the night.
You're gonna sleep in the hut?
Yeah, why not?
There's blood everywhere, and there was like a literal
Is there
bark.
blood everywhere?
No, there was blood in the bucket.
This is also Lucian. But like medically speaking, she's not really like, oh yeah, there's blood everywhere, but like Like, I'm not gonna sleep there because I'm better than that.
I'm better than that. You're sleeping outside.
Yeah,
Zephyr, you're gonna sleep in the baby hut?
I mean, it's a little tempting. Probably warmer.
Do it just to, like, fucking irritate me.
No, I mean, actually, just not even that irritation. Like, you wouldn't go that far. Or he wouldn't go that petty. Just, hey, the hut. Safe. Better than just sleeping outside. Yeah, I'll join Gil.
I thought Gil was taking the watch, though.
Well, he is, but he'll have to sleep at some point, so.
Yeah.
And then y'all did say that there was still, like, the bigger things of leather in there, right?
Yeah, like the 3 big dragon scale leather rolls.
People in the hut, I assume we probably pulled up to the hut a bit more.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're only like 30 feet away from it. That's easily a walkable distance.
Caleb does not want to sleep in the hut because of what has happened there and also the smell.
Fair.
I'm used to the smell. It doesn't bother me. I just don't want to sleep there.
How many big rolls were there?
3 in total. Caleb took the 2 smaller ones, so there's 3 in total.
Gil will pack up the other 3 big ones.
You're only going to be able to carry 2 at most.
I didn't say I was going to take them all at once. I will take them to the cart.
Okay.
Really, Gil? Those things stink.
Put them in the cart.
You get tools. I get what I want. I can clean them.
You can trust me on this one. That smell is very difficult to get out. Which one of us is the medical professional, Gil?
I'm stubborn. Obviously, because I've dealt
Yeah, so is the smell!
If I could deal with you for this long,
yeah, I'll save your putting.
This.
I'll save you putting them in the cart. Then yes, you can take the 3 rolls.
Smell.
Yeah. Thankfully, they don't
take.
Go ahead.
Can Caleb take the rolls and start throwing them off the cliff?
I mean, there's nothing stopping you.
Sure.
Because, like, he does not want to deal with this shit right now.
I will stop.
He's tired.
Stop.
I'm going to stop.
Well, I'm thinking about having Caleb trying to do that.
I'll say real quick while you decide.
Here. Caleb is just going to pick it up and throw it back in the hut.
All right, so Gil, as you, because again, these things are pretty big. Even with your strength, you could only feasibly carry 2 at once. So as you carry 2, you throw them into the cart, and as you go back for the 3rd one, Caleb, as you are coming out, is already dragging one of them back into the hut.
Leave them alone.
In the hut or off the cliff?
Is it bothering you?
Yeah, the smell is.
Yes, it is, and I am too tired to deal with this shit.
Air out. Like, is the actual leather smelly?
Okay.
Or is it the actual hut?
It's both.
It's a little bit of both. The leather doesn't stink as bad as the hut does, but they still don't smell fantastic. It's a mixture of stale sweat and birth smell.
Fine, I will leave them over here. But if I find them missing, I'm going to throw you off the cliff.
You throw him off the cliff, you are going to seriously regret it.
You get my point. I want the leather.
And I want Caleb safe.
I'm not going to actually throw him off the cliff.
Throwing your whole arc.
I don't know, you're pretty greedy, Gil.
Just leave it alone.
It stinks!
I'm leaving it over here.
It still stinks!
And you still smell the hut. You're not getting rid of it.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, get rid of it. Alright, fireball.
I mean, it's tempting, Zephyr. It's tempting.
Alright, so Caleb and Lucian in the cart, Neon and Morgan, Gil and
The only
possibly
reason
Zephyr.
Caleb didn't toss him over the side was because he was kind of worried that it might attract something.
Fair. Yeah, I will say, Caleb, as that thought crosses your mind, it does occur to you that this hut was sealed to completely not only barricade entry, but an honest attempt at isolating the smell. Because, yeah, you imagine if there is carnivores in this place, that smell would draw them in like flies to honey.
Caleb's going to stop at this realization. Maybe we shouldn't be here.
Well,
I think maybe Lucian, because of like how in sync they are today, maybe would have the same realization at the same moment. I think I agree with you.
Caleb's like, because that smell was locked in there, and now it's not. And Caleb's gonna look to Carol. Do you think that kind of smell would attract predators?
I'm gonna roll animal handling.
Go for it.
$19.
You kind of curiously look over. Do you have dark vision?
I'm not sure. I don't think I do.
Okay. Looking over what you can see, and you think carefully.
Yeah.
You are 100% sure that that smell would attract a predator. However, you think to yourself, you've not seen any. And like the swamp was lush, and even the Stalker Forest, was relatively populated. Like with the Stalker Dragons, you haven't seen anything since you got here. So you estimate there is likely something living here. It is very unlikely this area is completely uninhabited. However, you do know two things that make you question whether a predator would actually be a concern here. One, you know that this route is on the way to Fortiman, and as far as you saw from the map and what you can remember of it, it seems to be the only way to Fortiman besides traveling by air. So this area is likely probably decently trafficked, and thus would make a predator think twice about pursuing targets here because it's so crowded and populated most of the time, especially for the capital of the Argos Republic. And secondly, as you remember the Stalker Forest, you look down at the mist, and you know that you haven't seen any animals that you can see. And the thought occurs to you that there may be life here that refuses to leave the mist because it would expose them to air attacks by the Stalker Dragons, who aren't that far from here, where they hunt. So you estimate that if your party stays up on the plateau, it's actually very unlikely anything would come after you, as A, that would be a predator willing to attack people because it doesn't think anything of attacking a trade route, and they have to be willing to expose themselves to what is likely one of their biggest predators. So you're pretty confident from your knowledge of
things come over here.
Well, that's more Caro's estimate because the Stalker Forest is not that far from here. You guys got from there to here in like less than an hour, and that's on foot. So basically, Caro's estimating that a predator's not likely going to want to attack people on a well-traveled route, and they're not going to want to risk popping out of the mist, which is likely their only defense against the Stalker Dragons.
But that implies the Stalkers would come here and could smell that smell looking for food.
Quite possibly, but remember, they're ambush hunters. So them seeking out and attacking a meal isn't very likely. It's more that they would opportunistically snag one if one happened to be nearby.
So it's safer.
Yeah, by Caro's judgment, yes. It actually is safer to stay here than anywhere else.
I'll relay this information then.
If you don't think it'll be a problem.
Before we go to bed, I wanted to suggest something to everybody.
Oh God, here we go.
No, it's. I think it's a fair suggestion. Depending if Liv does meet with us or not. I do think, because I was thinking about the way that we have to do these temples is very, very complicated. So I was actually thinking, because the next one that we have to go to is, hang on, I'm bringing up my notes, is in Sculptor's Lake, which is on the other side of the island. So I was thinking, once we are done with the Temple of Restraint, we go to Farmin, we take the dragon, because like there's a dragon there that go like the same dragon that like we saw from Edic, like it goes from like that opening to Farmin to Nyanman and then to Yarmin. So I thought maybe we could take the dragon and make our trip a little bit more safer and maybe a little bit less, like, painstaking.
Okay, so
let's say first debate.
First things first. Was the President of Argos present whenever we were captured?
By the Scar Concord, yes.
Okay. Second problem. Weren't we wanted because of our actions in the first city we encountered?
Well, they never actually saw. I don't think they were ever actually saw us. So.
Yeah, Aurora did say if the people on the dragon saw you, then you'd be wanted. But she said if nobody saw you crossing the desert while flying overhead, which is possible, then they would pin the blame on her because they would have no reason to believe non-rebels were involved.
Okay, so it's kind of a toss-up whether or not we are wanted.
Yeah, so it's a toss-up if you're wanted. At the very least, the Hjarnman hasn't gotten the memo yet, if you are. So you're possibly wanted, but it's I basically, from what you know, I'd say it's unlikely, since nobody in Hjarnman seemed to think that, and Aurora herself suspected that they would pin the blame on her if they didn't see your faces.
But it's still going right into the capital, the center of our enemy.
Absolutely fair.
Well,
and an enemy who knows our face.
Right, but I'm not
sorry,
saying.
I should have said that in character.
Right, I am not saying that we go straight into the capital. I am assuming that they have platforms like they did back, like when we first went to the dragon. They had like the giant cave and like the platform where the dragon would go, and like people would, go onto the dragon. So I'm assuming that the platforms would be somewhat away from these capitals. So like we could go to Florman Yarman and then go to Nyanman without actually entering the
You're guessing.
capital.
You don't know that. I say we should
it's
stay
mathematical guesswork, Caleb.
The only time we should be in that city is whenever we're making our move on the president. That is the only time we should be in that city.
You're saying that we have to
You're just
trek.
going.
So
Yes.
You're saying you're willing
You're going to have
trek
to just deal
all
with
the way.
it.
No,
You're just going to have to deal with it, princess.
kind of like crosses her arms and purses her lips. I'm just saying that I think it would be better and easier for all of us, not just me.
I think it'd be better if you wanted us to get caught.
We don't even know if we are wanted. They don't. The Scar Concord does not know that we are here, as far as we know. The only person who knows that we are here is Lucifer, and I don't
Who
even
is
know
a
if he
member
knows.
of the... You told Lucifer we were here.
I said that we were heading here. I didn't say we were actually here. I
You
said that
told
we were heading
a
here.
member of our enemy where we are going.
So my brother, who has been helping
Who is
us,
an enemy?
who has been helping us,
Whose side are you on?
all of our sides. How dare you ask me that?
Well, it's
Yeah,
getting pretty
everyone's
hard to
side.
tell whenever you're literally telling members of our enemy where we are going.
Not just any member, my brother, who has been helping us, he has given me some pretty good keys to get in with the president or queen or whatever the fuck she is. So I have some pretty good ideas as to what to tell her
Wait.
when I do
You're
go
telling
see
me he's working for the enemy? You could be walking into a trap. He could just be warning her that you're coming in the first place so that they'll be ready to capture us.
He doesn't know that we are here. He knows that
you
we
told
are
him we were
heading
coming.
Here. Yeah, but he doesn't know when or
He's
or
not
any of that.
stupid. I think he can understand how long it takes to get to a place.
Depending on where we were at the time, he doesn't know where we are or where we've been. I haven't told him any of that.
Lucian, you said we're coming here. Even if you didn't give him a time frame, you did state that it still states as, "Hey, look out for these people."
I really, really, really do not think that he would tell Aragos.
Why?
No, but maybe he told his boyfriend.
I don't think that he would tell Kaloum. And even if he did tell Kaloum, I don't know if they would care. Because as far as we are concerned, they all do not work well together. We know this as a fact. So maybe they want her out of the way too.
But we do know that they all want to capture us.
Because we are a threat.
No. Barbaras wants to capture us and kill us. He is the only one in the entire Concord who actually gives a fuck about us.
Before we escaped and ruined their plans. Again.
But we don't know if they actually care about that, because if they did, I think that Lucifer would... yeah, I'm pretty sure he would tell me. Hey, beware, this is going to happen.
Why? You know? How do you base this trust?
Because they're brothers.
I have known Lucifer my entire life. We have grown up together. We have been through literally...
You do realize in this continent, brothers and sisters kill each other for thrones all the time.
You don't know how we are. You don't know how it was with him growing up.
Yeah, because
you don't know anything.
And I knew my dad my entire life.
Your dad
is nobody else on this team concerned about the fact that she is regularly consulting with a member of the people we said we are opposing?
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't think that he is bad.
You're basing this entirely on feeling. You have nothing to back that up with. He could just be playing you.
For the last, 5-6 years was complete blank for me, okay? Mm-hmm. I was scared of him because I thought that maybe he was after me, and I thought maybe all of these bad things, and I thought all of these things, and then we saw the brokers, and the brokers, they showed what actually happened, and all of that, so I thought maybe because those things actually didn't happen, maybe he's not actually a bad guy. He just happens to be working with the bad guys because it coincides of what he wants. Kind of like you are right now, Zephyr. So, you're with us because we happen to be doing whatever, and it just happens to coincide of what you want. So what if the Concord was doing something with you want, so maybe you would go with them? I don't fucking know.
Either way,
Caleb's point still stands. Is nobody else bothered by that?
You still
he wasn't being rhetorical. He was actually asking.
Gil?
You are consorting with him behind the rest of ours back.
I've told you. I told all of you several times. But you haven't
told us that you were giving away valuable information.
I did not tell him where we are. I did not tell him when we are coming. I told him where we were going. Plan. This is what we're doing. Do you have any advice? And he gave me some pretty good advice.
You betrayed us, Lucian.
Not!
You did.
No!
You told a member of the Star Concord.
No!
Just like Zephyr did, you betrayed us.
Regardless of his relation to you, he is a member of the Scar Concord. We have no reason to trust him. You say that there was like 5 to 6. You said there was like what 5 years that you don't remember. You know how much people could change in 5 years.
Not only that, she mentioned she was afraid of him just not that long ago.
I didn't know the truth.
Like, 5 years ago. You want to know something? 5 years ago, I was 9 years old and still living with my actual parents. 5 years later, look at me now.
I was actually dead, and he brought me back. They all brought us back.
The fact still stands. You're no better than Zephyr.
Ooh.
He trusted his dad. You trust your brother.
He didn't trust his dad. He just didn't tell us about what he thought may be happening. And I'm telling you, and I've been telling you, everything.
You did not tell us everything.
Only thing I haven't told you is what he told me about Argos. And if you want me to tell you what he told me about Argos, I will gladly tell you.
I remember. Hang on.
Caleb,
Matthew, can Caleb remember back to whenever we first fled that city and whenever we had that conversation with Gil? Wasn't it Lucian who said that he needed to consult with us?
Or
yeah, Lucian. Just in general, Lucian's always been an advocate that Gil, and Zephyr both consult the party before making decisions.
Member of our enemy without even consulting us. Didn't you tell Gil to not do things without consulting us as well?
Mm-hmm. Didn't she also warn Gil about leaving Lucifer to us?
But that was I understand what you're saying, Zephyr, but that was before I knew the truth. You don't know the truth, Zephyr.
You don't even know the truth. You have no proof of what you are saying. Other than what you claim and what he claims. You do know that people can lie.
A lot of faith in my brother. And I don't care if you do or do not.
Neon, Caro, what are the two of you doing?
Seriously, Caleb's question was not rhetorical. Is nobody else bothered by that?
Well, I mean, Gil outright called it a betrayal, and Zephyr seems decently vocal.
Yeah, but Neon and Caro hadn't said anything.
Yeah. He's just pointing out facts here and there, just this was a thing.
Gato, Neon, anything?
Neon's just trying to ignore this. Just all of it.
Oh, wow. My shit.
Wow.
Well, in fairness, he's known the group for the least, and they've been non-stop fighting the entire time.
Yeah. And Caro, what about you?
I mean, it's kind of the same with Caro too, just fighting the entire time.
I mean, but so they're not bothered by the fact that Lucian told the people that they know are up to no good, where the group
was
going.
Like I was about to say something. I was just saying it's a similar situation that Caro's kind of used to them fighting. But yeah.
Caro says something.
Yeah. Caro's gonna look up to Lucian and just I know he is your brother and you love him, but let's not tell him where we are from now on.
I'm trying to say, I didn't tell him I didn't give him any time frame. I didn't tell him, where we were when we were planning on going and anything. I didn't even tell him about these stupid temples. He doesn't know anything about that.
He knows that we're looking to get near the president.
He knows that we want to get near the president, and he gave me some...
They could have something ready. They don't have to know exactly when it's going to happen to be ready.
Why would they have something ready? And he gave me valuable information about her.
Because he wants you to get there so that you will fall into the trap.
Okay, clearly, the only trap that he has is waiting for me in Wicket, which I do need to go to Wicket eventually. Anyway.
To fall in the trap, as you mentioned.
Did we know that he's waiting for us in Wicket?
I think
I
you were
believe
there.
she had communicated that.
Yeah.
Yes.
She did. She said it.
I
So
think
basically
so.
that-
I
yeah,
just
she-
like it's been a little while.
She said that she wants to go to Wicket at some point, but is prioritizing all this first.
Yeah. Like, if I'm
Well,
not
I was more
mistaken-
so asking like, did we know that he was there?
He said, assuming Lucian told you exactly what happened, which I believe was the case, yeah, Lucifer said to meet me in Wicket after this amount of time has passed, because he needs time to work on something, but didn't say what.
I'm pretty sure like Raccoon, was it Raccoon and Caro with them as they interrogated him?
I believe so.
No, yeah, I'm asking. I'm not asking this in character. I'm
know.
asking just.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I'm. Yeah.
But yeah.
look, I have no problem not communicating our whereabouts and what our plans is with him. That's fine. But like I said, he did give me valuable information about her, and I can honestly say I don't think that he would tell the rest of the people, because like I said, they don't work well together. He has told me that several times.
Who's to say he had a choice? They obviously have him by the balls to begin with. You think he won't say anything?
I think it depends.
Not to mention your brother is literally. Hang on, I gotta prepare. Not to mention that he is literally fucking one of them.
You can see like Lucian's cheeks like redden a little, and she's just like, it's like you're not sure if it's like the embarrassment or like the anger of like the situation, and she's just like, that is not the point.
You're right. It's because he's being fucked by them.
Hell.
He has told me that he doesn't have a choice to be where he is. I've asked him to join us. I've asked him to help us, but he said that he literally cannot leave, or everything would be for naught.
I'm more concerned about the possibility of you joining him and selling the rest of us out.
Why do you think I would do that?
If it came between your brother's life and us, who would you pick?
That's a hard question to ask.
It's a question that she's going to have to ask herself, because it may come to that.
That is not fair to ask of me, Gil.
I have to make the same choice.
He is not your blood!
The father?
He might as well be.
He is not your blood, Gil.
He raised me for 300 years.
Does blood matter?
Yeah, and I'll say, Zephyr, you distinctly recall Gil being pretty emotional about like basically shots at his lack of blood relation to the family.
I'm more just.
Caleb, it was also
does
like
blood even matter?
It is more than blood. I'm not related to my sister.
It is
but
more
of course,
than blood.
Though, luckily, at least so far, my sister has not tried to, capture me yet. So I wouldn't put it past her. She is very much an opportunist.
Understand. None of you do.
We understand.
No, you don't! You think you do, but you don't! You think you have it all figured out. You think you know the kind of elf that I am, but, I don't even know what kind of elf I am. I've tried hard to be one person or another person, and you cannot ask me to choose between my friends and my brother.
Okay, then how about what? Okay, then how about choosing between doing what is right and good versus choosing your brother? Could you choose saving the continent over him if he made it to that point?
I had to make choices like that, Caleb, and look what it's done me. I killed Lorcan. I was a part of that. I tried to do what I thought was right, and I killed Lorcan.
He was already dead.
That's what I was trying to say. Was he was already dead, and everybody, including Raccoon, attacked me and said that I'm a terrible person.
But you see, we have the same problem with that. You did that without asking anyone else. You just went off of what you thought, what you think. It's all about what you think is right. You don't trust anyone else.
I should.
But yourself.
Because everybody else either tells me I'm useless, or tells me that I am this kind of person or that kind of person, and then turns around and asks me would I do
Why
something
do you,
that I
you
think
are
is right.
blaming everyone else?
Let me finish, Caleb.
Whatever you're saying, it's just you blaming everyone else. Whenever the problem here is what you did.
That, Caleb, you literally just asked me, will I choose to do the right thing? And I have tried that. I have tried so many times to do what I think is right. So, if I think the right thing to do
maybe the problem
is
with what you think is right.
I'm gonna get my stuff. I'm gonna just like pack up my stuff. If you know what? I'm just gonna get my stuff and just gather everything.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm leaving. I'm going back to Wicket.
You're going to go out there into that forest full of dangerous things.
I'm gonna go to Foreman. I'm gonna go to Foreman. I'm gonna get on the fucking dragon, and I'm gonna get my way to Wicket one way or another. I have a job waiting there. I have a life there. I have people who want me and love me, and none of you understand me, so I'm just gonna go home. I want to go home.
Your home is not there anymore.
You want things to be like they used to be. But they're not.
With that, Caleb.
It can't happen.
Still packing up my stuff.
Either someone convinces her to stay, or it's about to get ugly.
I am going back to Wicket because none of you care if I stay, and if I do stay, nothing I do is right, so why should I stay? Zephyr thinks I'm useless, and what can I do for this party other than tend to your wounds? Maybe Zephyr's right, maybe I am useless.
Zephyr thinks everyone's useless.
That is true.
Like I said, maybe I am useless, and maybe I'm just better off going home.
And doing what?
I have a job lined up there. I've already been told by the Queen that I would be more than welcome to return to my job.
Do you think Lucifer's just gonna let you be? In the Scarlet
I will
Court,
deal with Lucifer as I have to. I think that he will welcome me with open arms, and I will figure out what the fuck to do about Kaloum. I don't know, but if I have to face it myself, because none of you care, I'll do it. I don't care.
Well, Lucian, could you make me a strength saving throw?
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh no. I don't like how you said that.
Because Zephyr's gonna pull out his decanter of endless water, point it at Lucian,
A strength saving throw.
and say, "Geyser, you must make a strength saving throw of 13."
Oof. So that's an 8.
Okay, so I apologize for the damage, but
That's fine.
1d4 damage, but you fall prone.
Okay. And how much damage do I take?
You take 3 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
But yeah, you take 3 bludgeoning damage and fall prone. And Zephyr will walk to Lucian.
She is like trembling. Like not by like fear, but like just out of like have you ever just been so angry like you were just shaking?
Yeah, that happens every time I play video games.
Yeah, like that's how she is. Like she's literally just vibrating with anger and like you can tell just like by her eyes and her expression and everything. But like she is hurt. She does not want to be here, and she's just looking at you like not in a good place.
He will. I mean, he's very small, so he doesn't have to get on his knees, but he will essentially offer his hand to her, to help her up.
He just wanted to stop her from just leaving real quick.
She looks at his hand skeptically, but takes it.
What little strength he has, he will, I guess, somewhat help you up. And he's like, you're probably doing most of the work. To be honest.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, pick him up and
I understand the sentiment, yes.
But he's going to just kind of give off a sigh and be like, Lucian, the problem is that we don't know your brother. You're not wrong. We don't know you or your brother. But we don't know him, and all we know about him is that he's part of this evil organization. So obviously we don't trust him. Especially you're saying, the 2 rogues who possibly were betrayed by our fathers, as he did nothing to save us. So family is not something that really holds a whole lot of strength to us.
It's just the history of this whole place is just full of family not looking out for each other.
Either way, yes. Blood doesn't hold a lot of strings for most of us. The thing is, I will fully admit, I still think you're useless.
Damn.
But in most ways, because you keep telling me you'll revive me or something, like I will ever like I'll need that, but I've made precaution I've made steps to make sure I don't. But he's gonna give off even like a bigger sigh. It's more your uses most of the time outweighed by your annoyance. You get in, you start things. You say that we should go up to the capital. My worry is not that we're gonna get caught because we were seen. My worry is that we're gonna do something stupid, more you and Gil, and get us caught before we get on that dragon. But still, you're asking us to trust you and your brother when we ourselves have no reason to trust. Only you do.
Caleb's also going to add, the only experience I've had of your brother was, how exactly did he grab Caleb whenever he was capturing them?
Before or after you stabbed him?
Yeah. He grabbed you relatively roughly, and you kind of got the vibe he was having fun knocking you around.
My only experience with your brother was getting thrown against the wall by him and being dragged off to be captured by his allies. So I feel like you have to forgive me if I don't exactly trust him.
Because growing up into this, he's like a cat with a toy, But
I feel like that day he became more of the cat with the mouse, and I was the mouse.
I also know that he didn't have a choice, because Kilum told him find the family or burn the city trying. So I think to Lucifer, finding you and your family was better than burning the city.
Well, the city burned anyways, if I'm not mistaken.
But you say he was being forced to do that. How do you know he's not being forced to tell them what you have told him? Yeah, he's not I'm sure that plenty of them know magic.
The biggest thing that I can tell you about my brother is that he, as much of a asshole and psychotic person he could be, I never really known him to really lie. He'll stretch the truth now and again, but he wouldn't lie.
To be fair, I mean, I don't know all the details, obviously. You might know better. But from what I understand, some kind of incident happened with your family that led to you, well, missing a few years.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that... You don't think an event like that would affect someone and change them?
I know it affected him. Did you not see him on that clip? Did you not know? Did you not hear what the broker said about him? He was lost. He was hurt. He was without
someone
family.
Who was prime for being offered a new cause, like maybe the Scar Concord's cause.
I think that maybe that's when he met Kilum, and Kilum introduced him to Dr. Knight, who told him, if you do these bad things for me, I can bring back your sister, and he was willing to do that because he loves me and he wanted me back.
And how far will it go?
That his relationship with Kilum isn't just working together for a
he thinks
aligned cause.
He thinks he loves him.
And you said he's not one to lie. At least he never was one to lie to you. So it seems at the very least he does not lie to those he cares about. And whether you think he does or doesn't actually care about this person, he thinks it. Meaning, wouldn't that mean he's less likely to lie to him if he asked what message did he get?
I don't know.
And Zephyr, you had a question?
Yeah, also, you mentioned that he doing all this for you, or possibly. How far is he willing to go? Is he willing to tell them information for your safety?
They cannot guarantee my safety. I think that maybe if he had the chance, if it meant that I was safe, I think that he would go for a lot of things. I think that he's done a lot of things for me and possibly for our family.
Which makes him a bigger threat.
So doesn't that make the point that it is not that unlikely that he told them what you said to him? That he's been keeping this contact to gather information for them.
One way or another, Caleb. I haven't asked him. It's not like I call him and be like, hey, Lucifer, did you, maybe tell your boyfriend about our plans? It's not like that.
So, if you don't know, you should be more careful.
I could ask. Right now.
He may
in
not
front of
exactly,
everybody.
and he may not exactly tell you.
Would hear it though.
Do you want me to right now? Because I can. I have one more spell slot. I could ask him right now, and I will tell you word for word what he says.
If you wish to use your spell like that,
would it help you? Would it make you feel better?
I don't know. I guess it's going to depend on what is said and how you react.
Sounds like it's a possibility. Right.
I will be,
Caro?
because I will pay attention.
Leon? Gil? I, like I said, I will do it right now.
As long as you promise not to give away anything.
I won't. Nothing that he already doesn't know.
Now, how cold is it here? I'm just wondering. Just curiosity. I just realized she's like soaking wet as I just poured 30 gallons of water on you.
Is it cold?
It's generally very humid down here, but
it's gonna take forever to dry.
It down in this canyon because of the wind. It's a little. I'd call it like just below room temperature, like somewhere in the 65 upwards temperature. Like it's cool, but still still a fairly comfortable temperature. The wind getting trapped in here keeps it a little on the cool side compared to the just upwards humidity of the rest of the island.
Gil? Would it help you if I talked to him right now and asked him? I don't think he would lie to me. And I will tell you word for word what he says. And you know I will.
Honestly, right now I don't know if I could trust you.
What if I do Zone of Truth on myself?
Does that require someone to
I have no guarantee.
Yeah, it requires you to tell the truth.
Yeah, basically.
Does it, Matthew?
Yeah.
If you speak within it and you're affected by it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Can they do that? Because they only have one spell slot.
Well,
I have 1/3 level spell slot,
Yeah,
but I don't know if I have Zone of Truth up or not.
so it's probably have to do like tomorrow.
Either way, I don't know if I could trust you right now.
Yeah, I'm the only person who would even.
And he's
who would know
going
about
to
that.
walk off and
Fine.
stand on guard. Because he's taking first watch.
Okay. And Gil, I'll say, as Lucian debates quietly and checks to see what spells they have ready. As you pass the cart, you see Neon sitting silently in Morgan and can hear a quiet sniffling coming from the cart where you left Raccoon.
Did he send you a
I'm
message?
going to Raccoon.
Oh, wait, no, that was Raccoon.
I'm going to go get Raccoon and then go on watch.
All right.
We could just talk about her.
Yeah.
So Zone of Truth and Sending are not concentration spells. So I guess I could do one after another.
Zone of Truth and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could send, receive the message, and then cast Zone of Truth. And
could I purposefully fail? Could I be like, I want to
yes,
fail?
you can always purposefully fail a save. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so like I said,
only you are told if it succeeds or not.
That is true.
But we will at least
so
know
it's a
about
15.
the spell.
It's a 15 foot. Sphere. So anybody near me is also in Zone of Truth.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Zephyr, since you're right next to them, do you want to just purposefully fail or try to resist it?
I'll try to resist it. Why not?
Okay, charisma saving throw, please.
Everyone has to make a throw.
30, 20.
No, if you're in the cart, then no. Lucian's like standing a little bit away. I think it's actually just Zephyr and Caro. Did you approach Lucian or no?
They're muted right now.
So,
I'm gonna assume no, so just Zephyr.
yeah, how is this? 30, 20.
Yeah, you resist.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah. Did you approach Lucian?
No. I've been on Morgan's.
Also, did you try to say anything while you're muted, or?
I don't
Lucian,
think so.
Lucian
Okay.
asked Caro if she would feel better if she would Zone of Truth herself and send a message to Lucifer asking him if he had passed on any of the information that she had given him to the either Kaloum or the Concord.
And then she's gonna try to just word for word say
Yeah.
what he said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have keen mind, so I
While
can.
while
You're right there.
while in the zone of truth.
Well, Caro, would you feel better? All right.
If only you could cast Zone of Truth through
Who's
the
the-
message spell.
That would be pretty helpful. Yeah.
I mean, how does it actually work? Is it like they actually hear their voice?
It's like a.
Essentially, you think of it as just getting telepathy with limits.
Yeah.
Telepathy with a data plan.
So, I mean, technically there is a talking happening in the Zone of Truth.
Yeah, but they're not physically in it, so
Yeah, it's like sending. It's like you basically put words and it will go into their brain, and then that's the same thing as.
yeah. Versus like being in the thing where the magic takes hold and
Right.
going from there.
Fair enough.
Plus, all this is in mouth, not in mind, or the mind, the other way around.
All right. So, but Lucian, you have to do the sending before casting Zone of Truth since concentration. So,
Yeah, neither of them are concentration.
Yeah, Caro doesn't immediately answer you when you ask if Caro would feel better.
Okay. Lucian will close her eyes and try to concentrate on the spell. Try to concentrate on Lucifer. Okay. It's imperative for me to know right now if you've relayed any information that I've told you to Kaloum or the others. And that's my message.
There is silence for a moment before you get a response from Lucifer. When you hear Lucifer's voice, it sounds tired again. Although it is late at night, so that's actually not completely unreasonable. And sounding tired, he does respond to you. No, I haven't told him anything. I haven't seen him in over a week. Besides, I don't need to tell him what he already knows. He saw you in Ergos, not Ergos, sorry, Edict, not that long ago. Doesn't take a genius test. And he is one. And that's the last thing you hear.
Alright, I will relay word for word what he says, and then add to it. I don't think he's that smart. You're not there.
Right, so-
You can't say
I know,
shit.
that's why I said it. I didn't say anything.
Well, to be fair, he's within earshot. The cliff's not like a mile away.
Sure, you
Uh-oh.
are within earshot, so you can say something.
Does he believe her when she says that she doesn't think that he's a genius?
Make an insight check. I'll give you advantage because of Zone of Truth.
That's true. You have to say the truth, so.
Mm-hmm. You either just don't speak, or when you speak, it has to be the truth. If you failed.
18.
Yes, Lucian does appear to be being 100% honest that she doesn't believe Kaloum is a genius.
Well, that's smart.
She honestly
Caleb's
believes
going
that he's not that smart.
Caleb was going to say, I still think it would be best if you would at least consult the others before talking to him. Like you told Gil once. We need to we should consult with each other if we're going to be working together. And that, I think, goes for everyone, not just you.
I can agree to that. And I am sorry for any grievances that I have caused, concerning this issue, but like I said, he's my brother and I love him.
Just don't get too complacent. Just because he may not have a goal that aligns with the others anymore does not necessarily mean that goal is good.
I know that. And I know that whatever is waiting for me and Wicket may not be something that I am going to be happy about. Even though he says I will be very happy, he insists I will be very happy, I doubt it.
Well, problem solved. Zephyr's gonna go back to the hut.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some
Caleb's going to add, well, hopefully whenever you have to deal with that problem in Wicket, we'll be able to help you.
She'll smile at that. I would really appreciate it if I didn't have to go alone.
Silence falls over the cliffside, broken only by the quiet bubbling of the river below. Gil, you stand solemnly and unhappily, clutching a still quietly crying raccoon as you watch over the foggy canyon. The party, one by one, begin to settle into an uneasy sleep.
Wait, no, before we go to sleep, I have something to say.
Oh, go for it. Go on.
I'm sorry, this is happening, and it's
Barks.
being constant.
It's okay. Just go ahead. What do you want to say? Yeah, speak now or forever hold your dog.
Your dog. Basically, well, since I missed most of the conversation, unfortunately.
You want me to catch you up real quick?
Yeah, what was said?
Lucian asked you if he would feel better if Lucian messaged Lucifer asking him outright if he's been passing information to Kaloum or the rest of the Concord, and cast Zone of Truth on herself to force her to answer honestly whenever she told you what he said, so that you wouldn't think she was lying to you. She did it, and Lucifer said that he hasn't seen Kaloum in over a week, so he couldn't have passed that along, and even if he had, he didn't need to because Kaloum already knows you're on the way here because he saw you in Edict.
But yeah.
And basically pieced it together that if you're that close to Argos, that's probably where you're going first. Because remember, he was controlling that robot and saw you in the research facility.
Makes sense.
And
Lucian told us all of this.
Yeah, Lucian said that word for word, although she added that she disagrees that Kaloum is a genius. And there was a bit of a quiet moment, and Caleb, Zephyr, and Lucian more or less made up with each other, basically agreeing that as long as Lucian is communicative in the future about any interactions with the Concord, in exchange, not only will they let it go, but also Caleb demonstrated a willingness to accompany Lucian to Wicket to see what Lucifer has planned if Lucian proves herself trustworthy by just consulting the party like she tells everyone else to. And Lucian owned up and apologized, and basically everyone swapped sorries and, agreed to move on, and are packing up to go to sleep for the night.
To be honest, Caleb is not going to apologize for what he said.
Nor is Lucian.
Because he feels like what he said needed to be said.
I mean, yeah, but more like Lucian apologized, and Caleb at least it actionably did.
Yeah, so sorry had they catching me all the way back up
you're
right
okay.
after it happened. But,
Yeah, I mean, interruptions happen. It's all good.
okay, so I missed my chance to respond to Lucian, so I'm just gonna assume she's off doing her own thing.
I mean, everyone's just getting ready for sleep. You can talk to whoever you want. Go talk to her if Garrett wants to say something.
Well, no, it wasn't necessarily for Lucian, but it's okay. I'll talk to Lucian later.
Okay.
For now, Caro's gonna knock on the top of Morgan. I mean, she's already there. Just start knocking on it.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a slot cracks open. Just what?
Caro just kind of crawls over to look into the slot and just, Neon. I did not know that there was a slot here.
That's all I needed to say.
No, that's not how she...
Well, now you know.
She kind of curls up a bit, and just, Neon, I know things have been hard recently, especially because you're new and they fight a lot. But I hope you don't think poorly of everyone here.
Not all of you, I guess.
Aww. Aww.
I'm also sorry about being pushy about you drinking. It's not because I don't think you should, but I just don't want it to make you unhappy.
Well, it's understandable. It's not exactly the best addiction to have.
Yes.
Somewhere in the background, Lucian's like, yeah!
Drinks her fucking Star Blast.
Has a Star Blast in her hands. Don't
because of what I am, it makes it hard to have friends outside of my species. We're venomous to a lot of creatures. Well, not venomous, sorry. Poisonous to a lot of creatures. So it can make it hard.
I'd imagine so.
But it's nice to have a lot of people, even if they fight and argue. That's just how we learn, I guess. You know?
I guess. Just from where I'm standing, it seems like that's all there is, but maybe you see something I don't.
Maybe we just need more time.
Maybe.
It'll be okay. Do not worry. I will help you. We are friends.
I guess so.
Yes, yes. And one day, everyone else will also be good friends.
Care to bet on that?
Okay.
Ooh.
I hope you know I'm going to write down whatever you say.
Yeah, me too.
Pen's ready.
Pen's at the ready.
You already hear the pen
All right.
writing.
With each century that I'm alive, I grow another tale. Well, I'm a little over halfway through this one, so how about I give you my next grown-in tale?
Give it to me?
Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
He can just detach his tail, or is he gonna like?
I mean, anything's detachable if you pull hard enough.
I think it sounds like it comes off every year or something like that.
It sounds like a
No, he just grows a
gill,
new
thing.
one.
Yeah, he just keeps growing them.
Yeah, I shed tails like a gecko. It's for getting away from predators.
Oh my god. Yeah, it turns out that's why kitsunes have so many tails.
Yeah. The more tails they have, the more skilled of a survivor they are, because they don't have to run away as much.
Yeah, the foxes we have in regular life are just really bad at getting away from the predators.
Oh my god. Yeah, so, Karo, do you care to take Neon's bet? Neon will give you their next grown-in kitsune tail if the party is not friends by the end of the by another 50 years, I believe half a century is, so.
Yep. Technically, well, if you want to get down to brass tacks, 32 years.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, as far as Neon's staying somewhere in the next 30 to 50-ish years, because you didn't give an exact number to Karo, if the party is not friends by that time, then then
if
Neon...
they are friends.
No, well, no, because from what I understand, Neon's betting that they won't be, whereas Karo's betting that they will be. So basically, if the party is friends by the end of that time, you get a kitsune tail. If they're not, Neon just keeps it.
Okay. Okay. What do... Well... So, the end of the century is 32 years. It's like about 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 32 years for Neon to grow another tail.
Well, if I'm alive by then... what would you want if I win? Or no, if you win, sorry.
If I win.
Sorry, my brain was like...
No, these conversations are hard even at the best of times. I get it.
Your firstborn child.
I mean, which one?
Wait, did he actually say that?
Sounds like it.
I'm a fairy. What do you expect? I'm kidding. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I don't think there's anything you have that I want.
Well, if you see something that I get or can get, then you will say you'll get an IOU.
How about a handshake?
Would you want that?
Sure, why not? Worst thing you can do is kill me.
Okay, a handshake and an IOU.
Alright. Is that it for you two?
Yes. And now I'll go over to Lucian. I said I would talk to her earlier.
Okay.
The after
Lucian,
conversation.
as you're getting ready for bed, you hear the distinct, somewhat muffled from the diving suit of Karo approaching you.
Slurp, slurp.
Turn around. Hello.
Hello. Sorry I did not answer earlier. I have a hard time when it comes to arguments.
That's what makes two of us.
It's okay, it's okay. But I guess what my thoughts on all of this is that you're not a bad person. And even if you make mistakes, we all do. We have before. It's okay. We just want to keep each other safe. We don't want you to get hurt, like everyone else has, again, you know?
Have a funny way of showing it.
It's okay. Sometimes people who worry are bad at being nice about it. They don't know how to be good about it.
Yes.
And it can hurt, but you just learn, you know?
Yeah. You know, I prayed about it before, and Jiva actually answered me and said that if I did falter, that she would catch me and that it would be okay. Which made me feel very good, you know, to hear from Jiva. But it also made me question a lot of things because I don't recall ever hearing about a god talking to a mortal before. So I guess it kind of piqued my interest a little.
Well, they're there if you look. Maybe she felt... She was a girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe she felt that you needed some kind of help. That you needed some kind words in that moment.
It almost felt like when my mom would hug me. It felt warm and it felt safe, and I'd honestly forgotten what that felt like until I felt it, and it was nice because I hadn't felt. You know, my mom died a while back ago, and you know, I hadn't had a hug from her in a long time, and it was nice.
Yes, it's okay to be sad. I cannot give you a warm hug, but I can give you a hug.
I would like that. I would like that a lot.
Roll for hug.
Alright. And is that it for you, Kero?
Yes.
Okay. So, as the dead of night has now overtaken these foggy, misty cliffs and mountains, the party drifts off to sleep one by one as Kero, you embrace Lucian, and return to your position atop Morgan. Neon feeling slightly better about the party, or at the very least, that the bet may be something to entertain you. Kero, keeping the group comfortable and in line. All of you, at the very least, in a better question mark for some place. Aside from you, Gil, who, as you overlook the misty cavern, and while you can catch snippets of the dying down of the argument and the exchanging of forgiveness and apologies, you still feel uncertain and somewhat betrayed. And as you hold Raccoon, who begins to cry themselves into a slumber,
there's one thing I would like to do.
Go for it.
If you don't mind. So, as he's standing there, holding Raccoon,
he's going to yeet Raccoon.
No.
Long live the king.
Throw Raccoon like a football.
Fucking yeet Raccoon.
He's going to remember a lullaby that his mother used to sing him when he was sad as a child. And he's going to sing it to Raccoon to help her.
All right.
And it's not going to be quiet
I'm going to
about
let
it.
him have this one.
Like, everyone will hear it.
All right.
Does it sound familiar to me?
No.
Okay.
I will say that Gil. I'll tell you what. For fun, Gil, make me a performance check.
Singer Gil.
Like, is he gonna let him have that one, or is he gonna make him roll for it?
He just said he'd have to roll for it.
Yeah, I know.
That is a 21.
Ooh.
He rolled well.
Gil, sensing Raccoon is getting tired, but still awake and sniffling. You begin to quietly sing. And it quietly surrounds the group as all of you begin to drift off to sleep. It's not a traditional lullaby. It's Elvish, and it sounds more like a somewhat solemn marching tune than...
Is Gil a baritone? Or a bass?
Well,
Basically deep
how
voice.
low is the voice?
He's like a medium.
Is he like baritone would kind of be a little bit above tenor, and bass would be really, really low.
More of a tenor, actually.
Yeah, because like tenor would be kind of higher, and then the baritone would be lower. So.
All right. Gil, you sing the lullaby, and those of you who can speak Elvish occasionally get snippets. The lyrics are a little on the unsettling side. Again, it sounds like this is a army march repurposed to be a lullaby, but it, for if nothing else,
as you would expect of Gyogre.
Yeah, but if nothing else, it has its intended effect. Gil is a good singer, and while the lyrics, for those who understand, while the lyrics for those who can understand them are unsettling, you all begin to quietly drift off to the sound of Gil's voice, one by one. As Gil, you feel Raccoon's hicks and sobs gradually turn into quiet, rhythmic breathing. And as the lullaby reaches its end, and you sit on the edge of the cliff face to take your watch, the night in this cavernous wasteland is quiet, disrupted only by the very occasional glimpse you get of movement in the fog. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Well deserved.
It's funny how Caleb and Lucian started out being on the same wavelength, and then in the end...
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got there in the end, if nothing else.
But like, honestly, I feel like this is going to be like a moment of improvement.
Oh no, yeah, I think it is for everyone. Like, this is probably one of the few times where I think everyone has come out of a big group thing better than they started it with. Also, I will say before I get into the outro, I just wanted to mention, you gotta love Lucian. Hey, I just want to suggest something, and Caleb's like, oh fuck, here we go. No, it's just a small thing. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. I just think we should take the dragon. I don't think that's a good idea. Immediately launches a hour-long argument that almost results in the party splitting.
I mean, it's like, I was thinking that the whole time. It's like, it all started because Caleb's disagreed with Lucian's plan.
You can disagree with me if you want. Well, hey, I disagree with you for this relatively well thought out reason.
Listen, Linda, honey, listen.
Listen.
He drops the bomb that she basically told, again, someone that, as far as most of the party knows, only knows of for working with the Scar Concord, where they were going, and is regularly talking with them.
Yeah. Yeah, hell of an episode, guys. Nice job.
Wow.
I just wanted to say it on screen before we do the usual niceties, but just hot damn, fantastic fucking work, everyone. All right. If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/Grahamcrackers, GrameCrackerz, for my Friday campaign, the Goldshine Investigations at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, taking place in the same campaign setting, featuring 2 characters from the same continent as all these characters. So that's fun. Check out our website, currently down for maintenance, but will be back up in the foreseeable future at officiald5hub.info. Check the link that's about to be posted in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. And please support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners...
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, do you think we should mention that there may be another D5 campaign starting back up again soon?
I'll mention that at the end. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time at twitch.tv/OddTornadoProductions. And check out Odd Tornado Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including Caleb's Players Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer55 with a PH. Don't forget it. And yes, as our human rogue reminded us, while we do not have a designated start time yet, we will be starting a second campaign soon. We will post an update on all of our different things on when that's going to start and when it's going to be going live. So check out our... Oh, geez, sorry. Check out our Tumblr, Twitter, whatever socials you feel like using, and we will post an update on when that's going to be going live. For those who have been with us for a while or who have gone through the backlog, we will be picking back up our original campaign, bringing back most of the original party, and basically picking up where we left off with some new characters getting introduced. That's going to be fun. And I think that's it. So thanks all of you guys so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Woo!